Suni amani hunui. Ah, yeah.
Yesu bepuwe amani ninara tuwejo. Usuni amani hunui.
Ampo. Ah.
Yesu bepuwe amani ninara tuwejo.
Ampa debi riboa. Ampa debi riboa. Yesu beba, Yesu beba, Yesu beba. Ambara debi riboa. Debi Yesu bepuwe riboa. Yesu beba bio. Ah we. Debi riboa. Yeah, debi riboa. Ampa debi riboa. Yesu beba, Yesu beba, Yesu beba. Debi riba. Yeah, Yesu beba bio. Befa de makofie. Weni meni daso. Enena ye hunu ya enena ye ti ni suo arewana no aye dino enena ye hunu nyonyo ye besie ni pro ye mu aso be sorry wenu nyammo ye dini sio ne besie no odi sirie be sorry de bi ye besie no ya aso be sorry wenu nyammo eyampo Yesu bepu ya enena ye hunu nyonyo enede ye ti ni soa arewana no aye dio enena ye hunu ya ye besie ni pro ye mu aso be sorry wenu nyammo ya dini sio ne besie no odi sirie be sorry de bi ye besie no ya aso be sorry wenu jemo eyampa Yesu bepuwe amaye hauyi tuwetu
eti munyedi oh munyedi munyeko mufa musanso manuda baby ribo Yesu bepuwe amaye hauyi tuwetu eti munyedi oh munyedi munyeko mufa musanso manuda baby ribo Yesu bepuwe amaye hauyi tuwetu
Yesu na neseye mbo yeyini na neseye bose orikwa kosi yesi etina bia pabia manemma bisi adebi riba Yesu betemu wosoro se musionka sasi tamena nyina bebuwe sikampo anore ebesensha dofunyi na biwa sikampo anore ebesensha nyanumi biyo dano yenka oswibio arewo nyina bekwa awiye mama jidi Yesu bepua Yesu na neseye mo yeyini na neseye mo se yeko kosi yesi etina biabi amanimoa besi adabi ribo Yesu betemu wasoro se musionka sasi tamuna nyina bebuwe sikampo anore ebesensha dofu ebiwate sikampo anore ebetudume yerade aye dano yenka usubio owonyina bekwaye eyampa Yesu beba ampa dabi riboa hawwe etu obejo ampa etu obejo Yesu bo ampa roa ye mama Yesu bebo Yesu mensu biwati mama jidi na dabi riboa ye dabi riboa hawwe etu obejo dabi ampa Yesu bebebio dabi riboa Yesu beba befa ni menyina bejidi tijidiwa dabi riboa dabi riboa dabi riboa mama nyakwa brano masi dabi riboa adiachi
Nesi oke arelimo na se bebiso Ijanya kuponko walini
Adiachi ampa adiachi enyina na yadasorio ijanya kuponko walini Adiachi mama ampa adiachi adiachi tina media mesi Misumidachi, yeah, Misumidachi.
Media Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, say baby, ah.
Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario, ah.
Missumeri,
Ampa diachio, Yenina na diachi, na say baby padre, Mama Yanku Ponko Adenim. Ampa diachio, Yenina na diachi, say baby, Mama Yanku Ponko Adenim. Daddy Unkwana Wunimudia, with the Meosha so, my bravo Yina won't some, Miquanina so won't some. Daddy Unkwana Wunimudia, with the Meosha so, I am my bravo Yina won't some, Miquanina so won't some. He says, say very party. One any more say very ready. Unkwana Wunim. It's Debia, Massemuni, and a baby, Mitumi, every swears to marry you. Oh,
Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Yensu Yario.
Media Missumeri,
Obia Sorana Pahima, Magrasa or Baba, ye or Bessa, Bedrufia Semi, Yanku Pongwan in him. Obia Sorana Pahima, Magrasa or Baba, Bessa, Bedrufia Semi, Yanku Pongwan in him. Eti Peter can't send me, Sister Peter can't send me. Wine chain when I yanko, Daddy wine chain when I yanko. Una what down quansem. Say baby, so that you go on with you. If you ever see me saying you, I baby me saying you some way. Wine anymore, wine in him. Mama Yanko Pong, wine in him. And see the bia, Massemuni, and a baby, Miss Sumeri. Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Christonia would be a head. Jacka, you,
Missumeri,
O Christonia would be Mama Jadia, Wavati, a Sudachi, Suari, you are. O Christonia, Utmiaka, hey, Ampa, Jacka, Mama, don't go, you know,
Media Missumeri,
Adaji Masiha. Yensu Yadachi, Yensu.
All right, Mema Ebusiafu nyina akwaba.
Besimi was in Bisabi. There was in Bisabi wati. Baby said for you now, baby said
Yenina yaho etisen.
to Brason. I said, Missy to Brasso. The Kaya na Yemisu.
Obia and what to say.
Yemisu.
Check with your time, 6 minutes after the hour, 8 p.m. 20 o'clock GMT Ghana time. My name is Pastor Bernard. If this is the first time you're watching me, we are live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Remember to like the transmission the moment you join us. Neyi unwedi send beya me amount akwaba sonkokra. Benchurch powerful as a all over the world. Ghana ni iwiase amaname nyina so. Ebrasu say ibedi enkomo.
Adiachio, Ampa Diachio, Enina Nayadasorio, Ijanakupong.
Enti kameho na yeni enkomo enyumre so.
Adiachio, Zinamedia Messi, Misumidachi,
I misumidachi.
Media Missumeri,
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what?
With me here in the studio,
Say baby,
Missumeri,
come for Tobukia.
Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yavi,
Enche na yebebo empire na yase yenkomodie no ase. Esan say enra ebri ekutia yi pa. Live on Facebook, Mr. Kofi Owusu Joseph. Mercy Chum is live with me here. In Sharaba Same is live. Vades Yeboa is live. The Penny Florence Osi and Sa is live here. Wifey Eradiadum Meho Eyepa. Also, what is saying? Very party. One any more say Mame and Kunedu and so adjoining feed no sabri. Yabebompa and Yase and Komono Ase. We are looking at episode 2 of the Death series tonight. And it has to do with premature deaths. Eye Atɔfo ababehye enipa bebree fi na atoto amanfo bebree ewo kwantimfi eno nkomo eni eba bedi no edon mu mo amotie no radio no so Real FM nyina no na meka mo se mo bitumi anya kasamfoni no ahwe. Just join the feed on Facebook, Pathway to Heaven Church, and I say on YouTube, Pathway to Heaven International Church. And come on, ye didn't know be one funny any video you say each go ever. Mama Yankupon, him. And see, they be a massemuni, and a baby, Missy, Mama yesu ya dachi wati Kristo ni abodu ya he jaka yeyo asemu o Kristo ni abodu ye mama jadi abwati nasu dachi suwawi yo o Kristo ni utumi yaka he ampa jaka ye mama jadon ko yinom na and come on, Ketinketi a ekemu enrano medie no besasi na fe mede enumrei enkomono atoaso. I hope say enya dia meche bebre. If say baby a mede enkomono efree no. Enememu eda ho a obetumi ate de meka no enumrei no ase. No echi no na fe mede directions ni nyina nso egu ho no. Sanye beya onipa bia sa mani we bi ebetoro no. Ebesua bibi ede efree mu. Otumi agye ne kra no kwa atiasifo asasi so ebia na wi ukra nkwaje adwuma etumi awie no kama obade maye kwan a eye ochina nso mede episode 3 no ebeba eno nso eba behwe ebra okra no efri asasi we so na wewura the astral and subtle realm no ede ben na isi ewo ho no sai na atemu no krampo no ekono na se ka se obi wu no besan be wiase biwa eno nso emu nchirichirimu ne sai na heaven ne hell na yati wansem ewo Bible no no. What are the revelations about the deepest revelation, knowledge about it? A better digestion of the subject. Ebebua ama yinyina yati ye wanse. Na se o wiase we ma wetumi abobra papa. Na se kobane se wonso uwatwede na oba konfro no. Okofobia wetumi ehuni obeka. Osofo ofori ata takrade enso adjoni feed no sisia. Remember to like the transmission, and as soon as we're done, you share for us. Obrego yo dadia obrego yo ebi amasemonyi na se brego ye ntino dadi mami yekudro ho juro mi din so e won kwa mani mo dadi tro mi di won kwa mani mo debia masemuni ana baby Vera Mankwa is joining the feed right now. Mavis Blankson is also joining the feed. Nana ya usi ye kwa ne if you besi me senyo I baby me senya semwe wine anymore mama yakupon kwa enim nti debia masemuni ana baby ya meduye biso sumeri
Mama Yesu Yadachi wati Kristo ni abodua he ya kaye yo aba
Opowa ampem Joyce nso ababidu
Mama jadia wewa
Joyce ne mpomu ti sen yo
Suwawi yo o Kristo ni a utumi yaka he ampa da kaye mama ja don ko yinom na adaji masiha Yensu Yadachi Yensu Yawi yo Besimi wasim bisabi They wasim bisabi wati Baby seti fonina Baby seti fonina Because I go to brass.
All right. Ebusuya mechiechia mu nyina bio emamo adwo. Menim baby a ebi a wo chi yen efri. But send your time na bo obi ano. Mechiechia mu. I believe say obia ehwo ye. Ibisi itrase na yabompa ye ansana yewra yenkomonim enwumri. Ehintehunu Awurade enwumri so yeda wase.
Amen.
Se ode yenko ye na yeso. Na ewie moti ye oma wo han fefe no hyire wo yenso. Ye dwumedi ahodo ademu ni nyina yedi no. Ewia akwakoto em ye di dwumedi ni nyina benewiye asomdwem. Womo a edi ahyemu afusane atrentwi. Yente boni ihu boni. Ni yesi ye no umma hwe emeka ho a. Na de ka ne se yeda wase.
Amen.
Enye nipa nyina na ekọ esan babiu. Enema bi wo a esan se yintua ho kenti no. Ye hyeda emu esomfa so die. Nanso ye de yagitumu se ade bi a ode amaye kwa no. De be free yensa no awiya no no. Eno nti yeda wase.
Amen.
For the gift of life.
Amen.
Yesan eba bididi ye ho nkomo. Onipa eye honhom. Oye honam esan ye okra. Ewiase na eda ho no eniema ye di ye ni hunu no. Ni ye esi wo nachi ye nti ase. Eno nti edon yimu. Wa unim adie nyina na nimdie no so bi ebusa wa wode makwa no. Fa bedom ye ne bi ye ni.
Amen.
Ne ma ye honhumu ehunumu.
Yes, Lord.
Eniema esi a honam eniwa entumi enhwe no. Bo ene ma ye mu nti ase.
Amen.
Sene be ya yibetumi aboabo ye ho. Ne ye de atwen oma ye tosomienu no. Anase ebeboabo ye ho ede ama wu abrabo a ye bebo nachi.
Jesus.
Yeda wase.
Amen.
Odoba yaso ade munti. Amen.
Amen.
Adiachi, Messi Obiara anymore, na say baby so, Ifenya Kuponko Alini.
Adiachi ampa adiachi enyina na yadasorio Ifenya Kuponko Alini. Adiachi mama ampa adiachi adiachi Tinamidia Messi Misumidachi, Misumidachi.
Media Missumeri.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yavi, say baby, ah.
Missumeri.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yavi, ah.
Missumeri.
Ampa diachi, enyina na diachi.
All right, ebusia yebedi enkomo na enwumre no yehwe atɔfo premature death. Just a quick recap. Yeshia enrano yeshare the process of death, how we eventually pass on to life eternity. Na ihunu se wo infiti prekope na eba said ye awo infiti prekope na eba no yen ihunu se dakro ene de wo obi, but awo no esasiye 9 months and eto de bikura 9.5 months. That means opem for no benya 36 to about 38-40 weeks. Na wetumi ede ade no esase de dada no epi wiase mu one day. So that one day experience, is not the totality of birth. Birth began the day fertilization took place. Sa ena owu nso, it's a process. Even though it takes few seconds or minutes for a doctor to declare somebody dead, death a process, a stages. And until a person goes through all the stages, yen yebeka no wiase am se nipa no wewu. And so no sunsum no na ote ase. Enti we learned extensively and say the only time the death process becomes complete and they say the body will be cremated or discarded. And they say all the 5 elements na nyankopon ediye unipano. Ninyina after the disconnection of the cervical or the astral cord no. Ninyina ebesasiye efredi one by one. Yesiye unzonipe biyano. 5 elements out of the 8 fundamental elements on Yankopon di yiwiase no ena odeye yen. So we are made up of air, we are made up of water, we are made up of fire, we are made up of earth, and we are made up of ether. Eye nieme num. Sa nieme num we esese ni nyina joining the totality of the universe. Ansa na yetumi akase obi ewu ampa. Enti sedie michirichiri mu no safei eno wabadwumadie no so na unim bebia enkomo no free baya. On the death series, and I want you to go back and take the episode 1. Nefa adisuane chasi efri hobra. Na enyumri ye kasa edi afa atɔfo hu. Yenche bebre, because most of the concept, we got it yesterday. Echi yekase ubi ewu otofu wa eye uwu ben no esese yichirimu na sa uwu no kwan ben na efaso a eba esese yichirimu na sese nipa ni wu ewie a eden na ewechira esese yeye esan se bano natural death eye nipa no o follow the natural discourse eno wu ya nisiye neyi ni bibia e follow the natural discourse, e follow the natural process. But everything changes. Sekoye atofuwa bibia esesa. En sesa ewo hu nyina no esese minu minu yeti asiye. If you say there are some common mistakes and mfumsuo bi a yeye ewasasi so. There many dead bodies and many departed persons are oman for the natural discourse so enwu omu wunu beye atofuwa. They come back to haunt us and destroy us in the course of time. Ebembe no amamani hunu no ebisayen isa se omu wunu yantiasie enti akane no tetimre mu pa no se obi wu a. The first thing Omoyeni said, they want to find out the cause of death. Adekodia eme nipa ni wui. Esese omo shishim. Enchi sa obehwa sabre no na yefre bibi samanfre eye necromancy nipa na wawu no yakofre ne saman ne yahwehwem yepesi yehu de ede ne ko ne nkra echi se eyonoa ni wu no de ko ya ne yakugya ne kwan boko se onye onoa ni wu ne mu bibi ne pia ne tikoma ne kontem earlier than nebra ye wa mamre ne amane bibiri wo ha na tetimre mu no ye nananom eya enne emranche ne mabawa ene under 17 squad eye black starlet for no matusani mani nyina egu I believe say eka hu bi na edi yenya papa enti mesre mu say enkoma yedi na nwumre nso no yebenya adaje na yetie ni yi na before me beba studio no yenua baba ko di video bi send me on WhatsApp. I think it barely escaped me. Na mepese sa video no briefly yebeshe. I want us to watch that video briefly. Na yentua yenkomo no so. Where your friend is saying just by the side. Enonka just by the side. On him say WhatsApp we na ya na ewo we nti no ye behwe na okay metumi a perfecting wa ha. Okay, enti yenhwe sa video we na
menkani me maame owo me o kan bibi che se kwabra men sana me se maame wo se se oba yare na anoa menkani a ya asensene a ye fra na kaw wo noa de nchiri ko nyam se wo wura yi pa sanka me ben no a na so ja obi de hie na me hwen se yam se we mikam tente we jimi nko a jimi we as eni hwan nefa di uma so China fo a o matumpon China broni wo mo ba ha ye be se gold o tutu gold de ko mo ma mo free no no mkunkunkun ya afa eja pade e ko no China ni wo watere wo ho enso de aba ne didi aba no no de tsabi ni kuro mamamre wo de wo ja wo de ho won safa de fufu a wo se de wo de atente fufu wo fere ne fa wa je da wo ja bas se mo yan san ko fa ye nanom eja pade o ndi ja ye no ni ye hwe so ma no sesa se ye nyankwa se yade no adoso no se ebedoso se biewa ni nyina be fire ho na mwenyae enema efiri nkrofo ma so a omde abedada ye no na yentrase na yenkwada no so meto so na wom so nyankwa na onyin nche na yenhwehwe ye de onyame pe ye nyankopon pe na ode amayen timumie ni ye de so nyento amano ne de ni nyina angu wow onyame pe ye nyankopon pe na ode amayen timumie ni ye de so nyento amano ne de ni nyina angu.
Okay, so I got this video from one of the sisters, and so I decided to let all of us listen to it. Na Ochinebino will be Drew Ghana, and I say, Uba Ghana na wakwa na wakwa pepe menkenke tuwani bi. Yani okwa akaoni nyina wana di zumi asini bietrim na eja wari ape obebi aiden atina mema mami Felicia Kufuo Akwaba watching live on Facebook afi yankomo no ye share asiye na yedi edi free ho di kan ediene atɔfo se yeka se ɔtɔfo a eye uben. There were two kinds of death, the natural one and then the bizarre death. I friend or talk for I do not really want to use premature death, even though it is descriptive of the situation. Even though descriptive of Owuno, because there are people who also die Atɔfo, but omonye premature. Ye ka premature a sudden death, dying early in age. Nese nipa no unyini, send a life expectancy. Yehwe ni mu say ubinyi edru nipa ni nyini sa ena wewu. Eno ni ye premature. At the same time, also you betumi enya obi a wedi mfie bese ediokron. Ono nso ni wu no enye natural. But I say ono no wenyi ninti no, we mostly do not call it premature death. Eti ni ye maba wane mrantie no ena ye friend of premature death to denote in tree say Atɔfo nanso entisa. Entina ya na I find it quite difficult say me use to premature death as a literal or the intended word for Atɔfo. Echi mekan wo yen kasem num se ne be ya obeti ese because openi etumi wu Atɔfo. Akwada nso etumi wu Atɔfo. Ye wo owu preko. Eno na probably English in be kind of premature death no. Now say ye ka Atɔfo wu a eye wu a involve the invocation of the 5 elements that allows anybody to live on earth. Yesterday we did talk about these 5 elements. And on the wall screen also no. You will say unipe biyano, you are made up of 5 elements. And yeme num and the kambuma unyankopon ediye unipa. The dekai otete a form dotiye. Ena ode enwini odaseni. Eno eye earth asase no. So asase ewo unipe sumu. Eti asase no so hwehwe no a onene body no a unipe free mu a yekoto twene ana yehye no na asan aba bedane dotie. Eno ne asase no. Afei so ensuo ewo mu. A doctors for nyina echire say onipa bia you must drink enough water because your body will require about 75 to 80% of water. Send your beya or blood flow any your friend is saying oxygen circulation nyina a bit me I go on smoothly. Say out of the 100% water in your system no. When only your eyes use about 60% of that water, it when in down and then assume yes. It anybody that fails to drink enough water, you will have problem on earth. You can stay without food, but you cannot live without water. Adindia, water is life. It tells you say water is an element that was used in the creation of man, just as it was used in the creation of the universe. Enti asasia yetisui asie ni yinsuo nko out of insuo ene onyankopon de asase ne beto wo. Enti asase ni insuo no ena onyankopon ede ka ho eye onipa ebiewu efiti asie no emframa enso wo ho echi erade ehume nkwa hume the breath of air edigo yemu ene ebeye okra tiasefo. So air is also part of the human composition. And then we have fire eye ija sa ija na ewu mu no eno ne ma onipa utumi maintaining body temperature. Yewo emoa bibiri wo a ewu nsuom. We call them cold-blooded animals. But human beings are warm-blooded animals. And anytime you take the thermometer, which me at the show no body temperature, which must measure 37 degrees Celsius, all other things being equal. And you say you will say o temperature no drop here, drop here, and you are getting colder. It means you are dying. and doctors will have to do everything to make sure say your temperature is normalized. And then we also have ether in us. Eno ena eboa yen ema yemudro no yetumi esum. Me chiri mu say obi wo wa weigh 56 kg, obi wo wa weigh 60 kg. Se okotam ade bi a ne mudro no ti sa de man say onfa nante asase so a ebeye very difficult say odebe nante asase so. However, say nipa na weigh sa weight no utumi di nante, utumi di tumrika, utumi di ye bibia bibi ewo mu a eboama the force of gravity etumi ye adwuma. Therefore you are able to carry yourself about, and that is the ether. Eti enema num ena onyankopon ekakabo mu a odi ye nipa. So out of the 8 fundamental elements, 5 of them compose men. Now these 5 no eno ne mayen survivability, eno ne maye tumitina ewiase we me patuti nkomoni yi, eno ne maye tumitina ewiase we mu. It is for anybody to be able to live in this world, you need all these 5. Na ewiase no nyankopon ahyehye mmara, natural laws e dia bindi ewiase no. These natural laws no have been set in motion sene beya ade bi a wo beye wasasi so to disrupt the activities of the universe no. You will be paid back in your own coin. It is also Galatians chapter number 6, verse the number 7. Now, for Bible na yenkin kan aseme wo. Chi ni say mamo na adamu onyankopon yesi na twetwe. Na aba onipe guno enwa ena ucha. Se comfort be English no be to me akinkan amaya. That would also tell you say, do not be deceived, for God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man soweth, the same he shall reap. It is a matter of fact, onyankopon sa asem na onam osomafo Paul so ekan no. It tells you say we have the law of karma. Say adie bia, when you take a ball and you throw it at a wall, it bounces back to you. Adiebia obeyeno, there are causes and effects. There will be a result or an equivalent action responding to what you did. And so enone emra onyankopon ede asese ni wiase. Echi wiase ni ewo mu no. So wi emra nsem du na ode odo ena akabom. The first 4 no you love God, and the last 6 no you love neighbor. But this I say onyankopon any this physical realm. Na odia many penti the last 6 no e bindi all of us. Na all the elements na it make us together no. And one na air control iwiase we. You know, if you want to understand say iwiase we eye na dwuma, you really have to delve deeper into the study of nneema no a eye elements no nyankopon de iwiase no. Eye elements no na obe wiase we na obi hunu a ebema wa ye. And there is a very serious lesson I will be doing. On say me chiremo addition bi I think Abraham the 9 planets, me chiremo the 9 planets and the 6 senses. And then there is one major lesson I will add to it for a man to break through. When you get to understand the element of water, the element of fire, the element of ether, the element of the earth, element of air, Sanyema and 9, especially the 4 major elements now, a year embodied in the totality of the universe, a year earth, air, water, and fire. There are ways to work around them. A bit to me, Amawa break it through. Without working on them, I'm telling you, it will be very difficult. Etina Meka say, if you think you have heard enough, wait until I'm done with my mission here on earth. And then you will discover so much for yourself. Enti ebano atɔfo no a eye wu a nipa no one onye prepared say obefisi death. Nipa na saa de ne beto no onye prepared say obefisi death. Onye krado say obewu. 2 esan say onye krado say obewu nti no. Se wo free asasi so ha eniamono sano a ni so no enti asie se asasi no obegya hwako na eno no ensem bebre echi duabɔ a ema atɔfo eba no ene se obi de eniema enum no a onyankopɔn de yi nipa no or invoking them against you. And now you can say invoking them against you or somehow ediama san yemen numnua a you nipano and no near friend atɔfo iti atɔfo biano a yen samain yes samai woma and yemen numno these 5 elements no yes samai woma san yemen numwi and the moment it is any yasamai will be samansie bia no will involve legalities. That means you become rem yedoba kujina asemdibia yebedi wasem so difa na yede asotwe a esefata wa yede amawo sa pepepe ena atɔfo bia etie atɔfo bia no yesama oma san niema enumi mu bia yebetumi asama wa ma yisu yebetumi asama wa ma asase yebetumi asama wa ma mframa yebetumi asama wa ma ewiem a eye ether no yebetumi asama wa ede ama eja se yesama wa ma sane ma wiya sede ensamansie ba yede ukogina court ni di wasem no all the elements will come together sit on the matter because they are within you. Eti boni bi a wokodi ye no se ohome mframa na wokodi enti mframa wo na wo ye boni bi a wokodi ye no se eja wo mu there is fire in you. And so I don't understand why sometimes people will play with fire. You know, fire is a good servant, but if you are not careful it will destroy you. There are so many useful purposes for ija. But ijana no se wan hwe ya ijano ade ebe yo wiase we mu no. Then again ebra wo kwa koye boni bi a okoye no. Utimi hwe benku hwe nifa wan pija wani ahwe wiem. Ure fi se lightning, thunder, ether and so wo ho. That also controls the space. It is if gravitational force is able to act on you bibi ewo mu a ema the force of gravity etumi ye adwuma enti no when pija wani ahwe mu dia ena na meka kiro say okoya de and there was ether in you. Afei boni kwa okudu ye no say asase so na onanche na okoyi. Ai etina asase so wo ho. Asase ni so say the issue so when afei issue so wo mu. It is out na se bin wudi a atɔfo bia no eye samaya ye sama ma eniema na etumi ma otena asase so no. It is aniema na eboa ama watena asase so no. Sa aniema no ba be work against you because obi afa kwan bi so asama wa masa aniema no. And let me tell you, each one of them is so powerful, say even the mere enchantment and our voice incantation and semua obi bebie na no aka no nipa no unhia kusuya unhia snap ansa na watumi asama wa masani ma no de hia ne se obebo wudi amention your offense na wagya wa ma sani ma no and they will sit down judge the matter esunsumu asem na afei asotwe a ewo ho no omodi ama ho na de tie ne se omasotwe ni bia no eno na ye bɔ ne tofa ye frɛ ni duabɔ Omasotwe no enye enome de ebeseu ifri obade ya wenchen na yeden eba but ne control ewiase wi eniema e control wiase wi a wo tim no saa ne ma ne se omo twe waso a eno ne efre no duabɔ eno na se wo famu a ni aba be frɛ no atɔfo enti obi a obewu ka akwanhyia bia eyeduabɔ
Sure.
Asɛm na meka no tie mi yi sɛde onyankopɔn hyehyɛ sɛ onipa mfiri asase so no wanshyɛ ɔtɔfo wu amfa mo nipa no so we Revelation 6 verses 7 and 8 no a ɛyɛ atɔfo wu ene wo ho saa atɔfo wu no wo because people have sinned against God. Eti nyankopɔn etumi invoke ewiase no against enipa. Now ma memfa nko Bible num na menkyere wade anytime God calls these elements against us. For Bible no odifo Isaiah check chapter 1 no for chapter 1 no Isaiah chapter number 1 Nessa see free verse the number 1 Nefabra verse the number 2 na menkyerɛw ade ɛwɔ hɔ making kan twi no ansa na yakopoto kasa no to bo ase ne di me nkomo yɛchi na obɛkye de menkyerɛ na se Amos ba Isaiah anisu ade a ohunu no Juda ene Jerusalem ho eye Juda ahemfo Uzia Yotam Ahaz ni Ezekiah enanumu verse 2 O osoro montie O asase ye aso na Ewurade akasa mayen emma ama wanyini na mama wonso na won de wabɔ me soko. Now read the English verse 2 no kan oside
Hear, O heavens,
tie osi hear O heavens
and give
wafre the heavens osoro wafre osoro.
Sure.
Na saa osoro na nyankopon efre no. What do you think God is doing? God is invoking witness. He's invoking either against you.
Sure.
Osoro hono enianom eye nsem bebree ko.
Hear, O heavens,
and
give ears, O earth.
And give ears, O earth, wafre asase.
For the Lord has spoken.
Onyankopon akasa eti. Look at this. Anytime God calls upon the earth, enye just asase enofre, insuo ka ho, emframa ka ho, yi. Ena wasan fre, your friend is saying, osoro. Osoro no nso either eyeden ewo ho.
Sure.
Ena ijanso yeden ewo ho. Ije wasase so no eye the sun in the skies. And no ene the burning sensation in the light ema osramon. Enti se wo fre osoro a eye two elements, fire and ether.
Sure.
Ofre asase a eye three elements, water, earth and air.
Sure.
It's the moment God calls upon the heavens and the earth. It's will afraid the five elements against you.
Okay.
And that is Duabɔ. It is a woba Numbers chapter number 23. Numbers chapter number 23. For Bible no na yeni enkomoyi. Numbers 23. Na ehwe verse the number 8 tienie okan. Ebeye den ena medomedie onyankopon ennome no dese enufri nyankopon ho ena eba case. Na ebeye den na mebo de Ewurade mo ni dua no dua. Eji say obi busa say na Nyankopɔn so obodua. Yes. Anytime you will meet a scripture or a verse where the heavens and the earth are called upon before man, most abreso or say ofre osoro ni asase emedi adansie. Joshua ofre osoro ni asase emedi adansie. It's when the heavens and the earth are called upon. Duabɔ.
Shall I go?
It's read the English or saying.
How can I curse whom has not been cursed? How can I denounce whom the Lord has not denounced?
Okay, enti say Nyankopɔn mo bi dua. Ebeye den na onipa da senia twumi abodua. Enti ade ba ko esese oti ase ni say. Bible no a eda wo na eye Nyankopɔn asem no. Eye the moral etiquette and conduct of your behavior. E wasasi su no. Anytime you go contrary to the word of God, you know, already God has invoked the heavens and the earth. Sure. And when God invokes the heavens, a fire and ether. When he invokes the earth, a air, earth and water. It is you, the individual.
Okay.
Therefore, you are under Duabɔ. Inti okwabrani bie nano na odi woma insiu because antwenyama insiu. Sure. Akono de kosum eye dotie eti bosom no ebi ye dotie. Me twenwa diensi bibisu. So bi bebo odi otumi de ukọ bosomfie no abodua. Bosomfie no most often than not oba koto dotie say si ho. Eye et no di bodua no sama wa masase. Obeko obi tumi frɛ agrada ana ayirem. Osim asema odi atumi su yi. Se ayirem dwa ensi wo mu. Enuanom nipa no I invoke the heavens against you. Adenji no I invoke the heavens against you because we in nipa e wasase su no. Deep down within us our spirit in him say the word of God now the moral conduct or the moral fabric of our lifestyles. The word of God. No. Anytime you sin against your neighbor, and within the soul and the spirit of man, himself, God has already called the heavens and the earth to bear witness of asama waka. Say if we are see we na womno unuya adia yadiya wa enyo deno emfanya no.
Sure.
Ejisobi busa say ade na oye Kristo ni na yabo ni dua na enya no a donjo e Kristofo kwa na duabo no benya mo simple mo Kristofo no mo de duabo no eye atofuo no mo bewu no simple eti ka kwanyisia ACC ni nyina no ya samai sankofo ni nyina amasase eti wonam asase ni so a you are dangerously treading on the earth. Enipa papa na wo se wonye na wo be di bone e de atie nipa bebre no eno ameka asem bi se oti asase so abomodin se obema wo papa na den adoso se ne ebeya to a large extent no benya bible and protection.
Sure.
But why you wadwen se ne entine nko a ene niema eya nko a na obeye tie unua echi sawoye boni etia wunua na osama woma insia. Already the Bible has approved side Duabɔ because in this material world yemfa adwemboni enchena so. Nyame anye wiase ne se yemfa adwemboni mechirem na yemedidi ye ho awu. Nyame am prepare wiase ne sa. Eye odasani ene de sa de ba enti even before you were made. The word had already taken care of that. Eti nyame wayi solid Duabɔ no wo ewiem, wayi solid wo nsiom, wayi solid wo asasidim, wayi solid wo mframem, wayi solid dida.
Okay.
But you said they make what they say. Eti emane nya wadwen say atofuo no eyade bi a kire so da bi. Atofuo no the 5 elements that come together to work against your life. That is what we call atofuo. Eti se wonim say yabo udua A simple understanding, and it's say enyumre unya. The simple understanding is issue is working against you. Adentia, you drink water, and yasama wame issue. Wefubese, onase betatai. Yariye biya obe yare seni ye ono. Doctor fidie bien wo ana hospital fidie bien wa. Ebetumi dictate ne eye wo enso wa unim say o yare. Bibi is wrong. Eye Duabɔ. Etiaba ne sa niyama we nyina no, instead of helping you to survive, they will come against you and you're going to die. John Kennedy Nico at Tigri says, indeed, the heavens and the earth bear witness between us. Thank you, man of God. Yes. It is obligatory to say, oh dear, the audio hear me. Men count she be jemuma erade. So kaso jemuma eradia, and then yankopon eba be chiao. No, eye Duabɔ.
Sure.
We afraid the heavens against you. So the fire in the sky and the eater in the sky, no, etumi mau carry weight about, you know. The person has invoked it against you. ECOCOGHAC means you were friends, because insuo cannot go without the earth. Eventually, all the 5 elements come together, and these 5 elements are within you. So how can you survive? And there is nothing. Your friend at the hospital drew ye bompaye ye we sanya manina enye juma masa meka bibi dia kyerɛw say ye board ya now so be bompaye e dia brikia e jimi no wajimi because onyankopon asset this world in motion and running on some principles, and these principles, you know, once you break them, nature will take its course. It's Duabɔ Atɔfo a nature and they punish people here on earth. So papa, you are within the domain of this earth, and yet you don't want to follow the rules of engagement. E wasasi we so. Duabɔ no benya ebeka, and no hospital doing a bit to me baby. Eba ne sanwa ajise unim how to bring back all these 5 elements. Entina direction na mention no a very important say ubetie ne because there are 2 sides of the direction. These elements na working against you, the heavens and the earth working against you. It is obetumi adani duanoa. You don't go to that fetish priest because Dotia and the earth is working against you. How can you go to the fetish priest? Onim webia de boao. Said the maker what they say. You are rather going to worsen your situation. And as obe rading chainswa. Onyankopon himself was setting some rules of engagement. Air control you only have to understand how these elements can be brought back together. Now, what are these elements? Okay. The first step is nipa now. Normally, your man say go and apologize. Open the channel na ujemu maneka. Now the same elements now a bar together. Yes, sama omanwa sell na eyi we free as because elements na making your being. If you are not wanted here because of how you are living your life, they will end you. They will all leave one by one, and that is when the decision is made. And when that decision is made by all the elements within you, and from ija ita asasi eisio seninyina kabom najitum se ampa wo ewiase we na obetena mu no ade a ewiase ne yenye wom na woye etisi ade wa brane yebeyu afri ha se omunyina kabom se fri ha no mokwa eno ansa na messengers of death no maba.
Okay.
It won't say any but messengers of death no, they don't come 7 days to your death. They come the very day all the 5 elements are invoked against you. And only sunsuya eda natural death any sa Atɔfo entem ti assembly the American say asase ensuo emframa ewiem eja Sanya num we a kabum. Na the conclusion the metaphysical or the subtle realm. Yes, sunsumuya say let me use that. Sunsumuya is a subtle realm. Okay. That out of these earth peripheral, if these 5 elements say there is a complete understanding and conclusion say wo say nipa we asasina obasono eniema ensese wo ye eno na wo ye against your fellow human beings. It means that you are doing something wrong against air. You are doing something wrong against earth. You're doing something wrong against fire. You're doing the wrong thing against water. When they decide to exit you, so that minute, messengers of death, Yamadujas, then they come close to you. And when they say, they are going to make sure you exit this world. Until say you have rectified a niema we elements we a gange up against you no. A drobien wa yede kanwa ebeye adwuma. A drobien wa benuma ebeye adwuma. Enye se dronu na enye adwuma o. Adenti no bi tumi ekọ se okwa akoda ni duabɔ no. Obedane ne said day and so still nipa ne bewu. E kire say you have not pleaded enough. You have not been able to appease the elements no make you no. And to be able to appease the element, you need somebody with a higher spirituality and somebody with a perfect understanding of how the elements operate. Obetumi assemble all the elements together. In the direction no me de be ma no, e be follow the diagram or the image of this. One say the master say your friend is saying elements or the 5 elements, you know. Yeah. You can see that you can have a square with something in the middle. Yeah. So okay, say one say the master say no. It is somebody must have a perfect understanding of how to bring all the elements together at one place. And sana what you mean reverse it adienwa ya yeti. And that is number 1. Even if you can reverse it. And say your man who de kodia we ya akofa sa your friend say Atɔfo no ababi jina so and say man who, and I'm going to give you the signs because odipa bia you are under duabɔ no so person who say owo abenwa you will know, and I'll give you the signs so that you'll be able to check your lives. So obusiani bia yaboni dua, well, by the grace of God somehow onyankopon a make provision say memra na memetufu na menkyerɛkyerɛw na wani emra ho so sɛne ɛbɛyɛ a obetumi agya sapapa atu ama ebusia. John Kennedy said the wages of sin is death. Yes, indeed, the wages of sin is death, and Bible made it clear say bɔne ebekum ɔbɔnefoɔ, evil shall slay the evil. It's as simple as ABC. It's in Yankupon, what she said, Bibia did that. And Yafe na oba beye, oba may be meaty punishment on earth. No. Every punishment on earth here is orchestrated by the elements in you. Sure. Masa, your friend say, encrobesie. And yes, spirit be na Yankupon be na you. I'm telling you, say, Yankupon program we are saying that what she said that into the world or the earth is in charge of its own affairs. Sure. Mawanimye, nema wajimumye, nesha wusuye abraboimu. Okay, this is for Aisha. Eti me pesa oti asiye say, until you understand the perfect correlation of all these elements that make you know, you're going to die. Eti nipa bebre omatofu wonu ija ene sese wom obekone dem na ija tom na wa sese jurobe enye kwa eyeduabo. It's not a natural death. Accident car kohiase ne nipa wumu nyina wu, each one of them yaboni dua yasaman no abrabo bi ne bi etina ewiase no se wonni huhumu eja, you need to get one. Sure. I'm telling you. See, what we call the spiritual fathers are a lot of people have taken for granted. No,
yeah.
You are joking with your near maybe. When Yankopon na or ye Yankopon obechumia yadi, but it took your biological father and no do be rasa sisuha or planteo. Ubi drew answa. There are people who are only spiritually inclined, was setting them as watchmen and are watchdogs over your souls. And these are those who have been called by him Yahweh, a software who are true to him. Although some people are parading themselves as men of God. All right. And you may even have somebody who is a spiritual father, but on your software, but unimde, unimform, or you're spiritually inclined, the near be the third eye. Somehow you must have somebody who will connect you back to nature, somebody who can connect you back to nature and your maker, because your maker made nature. It's that person who will connect you to nature and your maker. That person is your spiritual father. And some people who are terribly arguing say, you need only God. Jesus is our spiritual father. You don't need any. If Jesus is your spiritual father, okay, I guess Jesus should have impregnated Mary and given birth to you. Out of ignorance, people die and people perish.
Sure.
It is very important to understand this. Ka ekobo bi wewu eyem kwinsi ewu eyatofo. Ija asisi nipa no eyem kwinsi ewu eye atofo. Opemfo wako awoso wa ma ne ba ma eyatofo. Nyankopon ansise oba akowu a onku. Ose obeti yaw. It is for whatever reason here okwa awoso a one man eyatofo. And a lot of issues and niema bebre to me kotwetwe atofo ne den eba and ne tofa bomu nyina ne say atofo bia no eyeduabo duabo no asechire ne nyina ne say the 5 elements na eyewo no they have decided to kick you out of this world because your lifestyle doesn't suggest obi a why ready say ensise ya ewo asasi isu no obedi so. This is all you need to know about Atɔfo. Eti eba ne sa sepe once the process begins, duabo no sa sepe messengers of death, ya madijes no they will come close to you. Sure. Their duty is to make sure say edrobia obenumbia no enye juma because automatically you must leave the planet Earth. So free anauko. You are not wanted anymore. That is the essence of Duabɔ ana atɔfo. O brensoing, but you are not wanted. You are not needed here. Here we are seeing. It is say omoma free anum na yeden. Na uko because wo yijao setting ha. The other baby we are seeing no. Fasum de yeden emma. It is say omoma yeden echo. It is the messengers of death no will make sure say edrobi e de beka no enye adwuma. Afei onipa bi a ode ne ho bebɔ no ye the messengers of death need the duabo no be san no eti say ye bo bi dua very dangerous, especially say nipa ni wu a de obekɔ ni fu de obeso na daka mu de obeye na yi de obeye ne ho ntotoye de obeto na daka de onipa bi ode ne ho bebata sa wu no messengers of death omun free somebody ni wu a no ma ba so they will make sure say won so obekɔ. Nature is very powerful. You must be careful the way you live your life here in this world. Because we are saying now, medical culture said that software installations are juma, and these applications, you are not the one who installed them. So you cannot delete them and you cannot modify them. You only have to live within the framework of this earth.
Okay.
So yen is hard ya wasumbeju ubetumi etina wiase wemu ache edinchia main yebo bidua ode wo bono account because messengers of death no they are so terrifying, they are so horrible that in fact anybody who has been whom we have invoked the 5 elements against you are equally in danger as them.
Sure.
KADA Busa said, Papa, please, when someone commits sin, Do they sin against God or the elements? And who should we confess our sins to? The elements or God? Sin no ye wonu mienu. Sure. Ye was sin against your neighbor, and ye was sin against God.
Sure.
When you sin against God, it dwells on commandments number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. If you allow dotier or TV or money or your girlfriend or anything to be your God, you have not sinned against your fellow human being.
No.
You have sinned against God.
Right.
So confessing goes to him.
Sure.
And sinning against God brings about a curse, a nomen. And anybody who is capable of sinning against God will eventually sin against the brother. Nyangopo, Duabɔ okra wachimi anybody. Na unia, enyo no na ma umframa home, enyo no na ma waduanidi, enyo no na ma wasase nantiso. Ona onye no bone, ndio ma umframa home kura no wa ye no bone. Na ngade wo ma ohwe. But you said the American watch you see. I can see say network no eye twitwi ewo YouTube. Yeah. Say a hamo bibria, you can switch to Facebook because stream now also a very normal. And then later I'll be posting the recorded version on the platform, the YouTube channel as well. Me also network no eye twitwi. KAD. When you sin against God, unyankopon ena obepa ne chewo. But when you sin against your neighbor, your brother, James chapter number 5 verse 16 will make you understand, say, go and seek forgiveness. Kona koka mboni, echire unuya na, waya ne boni no na, odichewa, ejidifo mompaye, na ye nsire maun. Na se woko na wamfanche no si, obebo duya, that's the problem. Yes, that's the problem. Mesre, the question you ask, we don't apologize to elements. No way. We don't apologize to the elements. Elements, once they begin to take their course, I'm sorry, you will be punished. Unless somebody who is able, who has a perfect understanding of sending the elements in the year, and bring all the 5 elements back at one place. Na wachimi a revoke wasasa ana wadane Duabɔ no a ɛda so a ɛma wakɔ onkra akyiri no enti ne ɛtie no Aisha says, Papa, what if someone died out of heart failure? Is it a natural death or not? Heart failure no there were no 2 types. There were one orchestrated by forces of darkness. Duabɔ bi wo wa ye ne se wakoma no enti.
Okay.
Then we also have a physical one. Physical ones, doctors will be able to help you at every point or all the way through your medical, process. Doctors ebetumi aboa wo. Say a physical, a natural, ebia or lifestyle choices be a make we did a one shiny. Most of those lifestyles, ebetumi ama wenya akumayare.
All right.
The physical, no, the doctors betumi ama wadrobe say you respond to treatment. You will nipa bi owa omo pressure, omo da pressure dru so. Pressure dru no mo nom no eye adwuma ojai pressure dru no mo a na ni BP no sign so say you are responding to treatment. That means say a natural, a physical, a wabrabo or ne as a wedidi ne lifestyle be ena amana ede abanisa. But akumayari any heart failure, doctors don't even know why your heart has stopped. She said Vivian Dieni Bino. Now we say there is a spiritual attachment, and it comes in the form of attacks. So it comes in the forms of attack. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand, say, the heart doesn't stop like that. We have to investigate why the heart was able to stop in that manner, because many of the heart attacks, a spiritual attack.
Sure.
And because you bet me about you, it will soon sumu. Will be bet me the wako edroso or the image ako. It's also yenipa boni funji. Your man is sick and say image the dash him. Onfa sikano and walk or chester. Unyadi wom wa miro no more na count ewo hunemu. Ube se makuma team no. There are some a year spiritually orchestrated, and there are some which are naturally or physically orchestrated because of maybe a lifestyle choices via uchisuye. Eti aisa ubisaya die etienono. So to continue with the mainstream discussion, kai kwensia eye Atɔfo kyerese eye Duabɔ die ija kwose no eye Atɔfo kyerese eye Duabɔ yesama omamframa aircraft aeroplane aircraft crash ne mu nipa nyina aircraft omosi engine failure omosi de ben masa mframa na de woko ode obeba fom eye Duabɔ. Natural deaths don't follow that pattern, all right?
All right.
It doesn't matter whether you are old or you are young. Sir, all those accidental, disastrous deaths, ninano, eye Duabɔ. Isio afenipano, isio afano, mepacho, isio fenipa sa eye Duabɔ. I'm telling you, for you to be drowned in a river or any water body, and your corpse will eventually be found at the river banks, eye Duabɔ. Isio enfenipa sa eye Duabɔ. There are so many of such mysterious deaths. So I just say, sir, all these deaths, so when is sir, so say, the 5 elements now amount survivability, the same 5 elements, and they decided to say you are not needed here.
Okay.
You have to leave. See a pamo free hanum, and they begin to work against you. And some of these things, if you want to deal with it yourself, you can't, because you always need somebody who is capable of bringing back the elements together and then making you know where the problem is coming from, rectifying your error, because when you rectify your mistakes or you atone, you try to appease nipana oye ne boninwa, then we can also revoke and ibetumi asesa Duabɔ na yetumi afa kunya ne so apamo the messengers of death no e de free ho. It is said na make no say yebo obi dua obi a ode ne ho bebo obi a yebo ne dua no etumi nyawo ni sika ode ma odi bia ebenyawo. All right. Say eventually Duabɔ no yentumi anane nu na owu a body no usomu a ubewu bi Duabɔ no beka ho womo a ebefa adaka Duabɔ no beka ho mochiremai Duabɔ no beka agise nipa no nimnie ono beye na Duabɔ no bi anye den anka no de unima obeye ne se ade no adaresi na obeye ana amane na obeye no ebepamo the messengers of death no ayedei every ho sane ebeye a wo de unkobi eti se matahwa Duabɔ ba ko a ye bonu efie bim etumi ku papa Duabɔ na etumi ku maame etumi ku nua Duabɔ ba ko etumi si efie ho nipa nyina ase ubekɔ fie bim ubia bewu a eyeka akonsia ubia bewu a agese ka abono ubia bewu a agese wasese yetumi samai onipa ma ejaframa eyeja etisa asese de esi wo cycle ni sei womo a efam wuye ni nyina were people who died prematurely omu Atɔfo sankofu ni nyina Duabɔ didom so etisa wo ba asori as asori ayeye no a in fact enipa Duabɔ didom so no nyeni paketewa e come here say the majority of Christians in Duabɔ edidom so Adentinetisa because ye di boni dudu, ye di yemim dudu, ye nuanum boni too much. Utimi shewu nuanimpa now the next sim. Masa, nature is watching. You are breathing air and you are doing this. You are walking on the earth and you are doing this. Eti se wonfa we you see nyamesum no. You don't need to be told to be a good person and son be ni papa. John Kennedy says, Papa, say it again, man of God. Everybody needs a spiritual father to help you out. Ayasemo enchi me pesa wuti asemu yase. Say you really have to be careful the way you live your life, because if we are no ena hokwa eneme wom no emunti ase no enye yi enti se yenya bonipa ni dua se pe na che se owo no eye oto fuo ewu na che se obi ena wo orchestrated death no wasuma owo bofo ni se onye dey omra wo so enye se wadi wumfia me enye se wa fulfill o purpose de enche nyankopon de oba asase su no wa ye wie da bi unye wie nu baby a but eyobi ena consciously was say de wodi aye no ensuo no ni wunni ema no emframa na wohome no eni wunni ema no asase na wonam so no eni wunni ema no, because adi a wodi aye no wakum ne kra. And the person consciously and deliberately invokes these elements against you. And once Nipano go through process, ni say boom. Esio bedi asem, asasi bedi asem, wamu nyina bedi asem. Eti punishment, asasi so punishment ni nyina no. Bepacho enye nyankopon eye nyame, but ono wa hyehyɛ ne dida. Eti as a wiase noa et noa na take charge. Eti no mo say aba ugu no enoa na oye dey. Say ne obeye no asase we so no asase no will pay you back. Untumi nkudua buru enkutwa menkani.
No.
There be untumi nkudua ayipaya enkutwa agewa ye. Die ugu no enoa na abe dey. Ubetwa. Enti se wo pese unyincha. Make sure say onye ade bia obi consciously obi invokely emframa ana eja ana ita ana se ensio ana asase against you. You must be very careful the way of life you choose. Yen nyina ye bewudie, but you can choose how to die.
Okay.
I'm telling you, death is inevitable, but how you going to die, you can choose it. You can choose to die naturally in peace, or you can choose to die in pieces. So there are two ways. There are some people who rest in peace, but there are others who rest in pieces. One more rest in pieces, RIP no, and you na ye peaceful. There be ye pieces. Just say before oba bewuno ne kokobo etu efri ne tobai ne kidney essay ne nefusai ne obodam, so many things. So you die in pieces. You didn't die as a whole. But one more a natural death no odini fie main afi oni ebusiafo dinkra ono a said now I'm ready to be transitioning. Now oni ebusiafo dinkra afi okoda ade beti nyame say come and rest. Na the kra na frinimu okoboko. That is how God intended man to transition from this physical earth. It is a what to boase eye niema ebeboa mo watumi anyina che wasase so a duabo no ebi nkan me say e kristofo a aba bibribe a ye nenam wiase we mu ye na yewu atofo no adentia because emim ne doso. O de monhwe politicians, how are some of them die? O de monhwe footballers. Look at people, most leaders, even asofoni bebre afedi omu atofo adentia, because eniema no amodi ye nipa ma asase so no eni ya eti asase ji wotena ha enye ye omma wo brenso obeyi wafri ha. Sure. Ensio ji wotena ha omma wo brenso obeyi wafri ha, because ntumi menum nsio ensam fa nsio medi bone ema ne nye ye. Ono ama wonkwa, water is life, air is life. Omoma wonkwa ni wi a na adebone na wo ye wo wiase wem. Masa they will evict you. Ombi we free wiase wem. Eti duabɔ no, and one the 5 elements. If you don't know, I'm telling you. Duabɔ, and one the 5 elements. Enti the peaceful way to live in this earth, they say, whatever yesu my principle no adia yede ye wa enye de no emfa nye de love your neighbor as yourself. This is the prevention of duabɔ.
Sure.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Kennedy said this subject is timely and that we need to call our loved ones to join us. That's very true. Remember to like and share. Mo amutie no radio so no abomodia ama wunua no mo a etie no so omo entie no aba be join friend so metie nkomo na ekoso wo radio no so Real FM 97.1 live ewo afi mami Eva enso ajoin menya message from Emily Emmy sending message I think on Telegram or say does it mean Pastor Miles Monroe and the wife were cursed by these elements? Let me answer this question. I don't know what they did or what went wrong, but as a society, as you say, for anybody to die unprepared, sa Atɔfo no duabɔ bia koso baby.
Okay.
You see, somebody may raise the issues of the martyrs. Yesu esuafo na yekunkum wo no. None of them omu wu ni nyatofo wu. Yesu esuafo no omu wu ni nyatofo wu.
Okay.
Adentia, because they already knew say once you take on the cross, you have taken on death. Already they are prepared to die. That was persecution.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
That was what? Persecution. There may be many reasons why Pastor Miles Muru omoplenu inya, you see, there are some mistakes bia unipa oya. You may not relate it to duabɔ. And some pennyforce bibi ankoka papa enye chirede. You see, kane konya accident, somebody may say it was a mechanical fault. Now if you die sudie or how to me bahu at any point in time. Somebody's reckless driving may cause other people to die. So we ask ourselves, does God know everything? The answer is yes. And so if God knows everything and that kind of death is not meant for you, Bible will talk in Amos chapter number 3 verse 7 say, Ewurade Nyankopɔn enye bibi. Ono no makwan ma ohaw ba sasi so. Eti on makwan ma ohaw ma agise wadan na di akire ne nkoa adiifuo. Eti those who are not meant to die in that kind of death no. Nyame pe kwan bi so reveal ana otele na sankofo no we yi o mai dey efrim. Remember what the Bible said in the book of Psalm 34. Yanko check it. Psalm 34. I may have to refer because of question na eba no. Mpese me de miami chirichiri mu ebeba na akoye bibio ho. Let's check Psalm 34. Sasie free verse number 19. Sasie free verse number 19. Psalm 34 verses 19, 20, 21. Namemfa 22 enka ho. Ose otini ni na mani yedoso. Accident beba, enkwensia beba, bibia ebeba. Nenso Awurade gye free ni nyina mu. Ti nkomo ni you. Na de okan edefo a asem ne so say ohwe ni nompe nyina so sɛdeɛ emu baako mpo emu bɔne ene bekum ɔbɔnefo na wɔn a wɔtane ɔtene ni no ebebrim Read the English. Baby, here me verse 20 will say, "O sheni nom pinyina so na emu ba kumpo anye dei emu." Read the English version.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
Many are the afflictions of the righteous.
But the Lord delivers him out
But
of
the
them
Lord
all.
delivers him out of them all.
He keeps all his bones.
He keeps all his bones.
Not one of his bones is broken.
But it is very clear. So there is something wrong with their death. But it is not up to me to investigate their death, because that was an untimely death. That was obviously Atɔfo. But then I want to make it very clear, say, it is not what we see that matters, but what we do not see.
Sure.
Me, Pastor Bernard, I may be holy and sanctimonious in the sight of everybody. Pastor Bernard, ye good. But ebia obeba me private, me kuku where nobody will see, where only the God of the heaven will see. Na eniema meye wo me kuku no. Enchirese ewiase no menkoso ntinem. We don't know. We only know of Pastor Miles Muro in the public life.
Sure.
On in the public life, when they are teachers, when they are motivational speakers, when they are that, we don't know about his private life. So me catch say if we are see it doesn't fail. The nature doesn't lie. That is not how God designed nature. Okay, it is important to understand. Say there are some people who may have sanctimonious life in the public, but in their private life, maybe are so terribly done and wrong. And that is why it's very important, say, in and out of your life, you need to be careful and check what you do. This is coming from Aisha Sisi. Did an individual have one particular element that could help him break through, or accept combination of all the four elements? Yes, you must work the elements because they are all five in you. You must work air, you must work earth, you must work water, you must work fire. But then the lesson will have to teach you, say, there is a major area where you lie.
Sure.
It's when you discover where you lie, then you work on it to make you break through. It is sometimes you may major in one, sometimes a better combination of all the four before you can break through. That is a lesson on its own. Kedi said, Papa, please, can someone die accursed by the elements and still have salvation? Mamenka sembinchero. Duabɔ. Ebechimie sayon. But because of how the world has been, the earth has been designed to operate, messengers of death will kick you away and you can be saved. I will give you a typical example. Yenuya ba oda foma obade yaduma yawa de pepe no kurabe Atɔfo. Eye obi duabɔ any sign. Den na duabɔ ni sign no ensem bi a meka kire no ya so ne wenti. Nsɛm na meka kire no enye nsɛm a eye boniti onipa ana eye boniti onyankopɔn. Na emo ye nsɛm anka ne nkwa na ye wo mu yi anka ebe preserve ne life no ama no. But you said the American what you say. Ba wenti ama ne nkwa na ye dey every nisa. That has nothing to do with the deeds and now on one kasana braba obey day boy ewo asasi we so. To answer your question correctly, yes, there are cases in which people may die untimely. And I say obetumi ewu Atɔfo, and so now it will not affect the salvation. To every law there is an exception. If the person is dying not on account of onuane boni, but because duabɔ no, memfa ne say o maame ene koye adia enye ene ye bo maame no ne manyina edua maame na wu amofra no nsu ebia de ewu ansa na yehu akiri why no ye bone na sese opay why no ye didi no maame no echicha bofra ni deeds ene ne actions was asisu no they were okay nemo no a sign no na ba be sign wa eno no de you cannot say because of the sin of the mother ninji no ono ni so no mesofa in this lifetime na ono na free muko but ni so ni de akontabuo no de ono ankasa de ni nipadua eden eye etike edi ubisaya imuaya ewo eho eno no I think it's so for Biamfa another way am I okay echi say ekobani say all of these accidents this issue ayira fano yeko beach akwa kudware issue fano yete kanumu anabotu mu issue so many occasions yate say enkofo bi di kanu anase boat issue black voter red voter yellow voter anglophone voter river noa around Afram Plains ni voter region Timpoko onom no na boat no asama sochi a overturn na inipa bebre atoto nsu no mawu ni nyina atɔfo and these are people the elements are evicting them omuyi omafiriwiase wem for enema bi a omaya according to nature no they don't deserve to stay here for a long time esese omufrim na omoko. And very important say in times like that, you know, it's na me say wuni obi a obo uchidomo a now ni nemu we and no spiritual father nothing now ni nemu sa no a time will come your biological father will not be able to help you. You need somebody who is spiritually inclined to help you out. Now what you mean aye nieme bi ewo asasi we so and this adi anka say o ma o papa betina akunye mu ha na oneo ekasafa sanima wehu eti ubia eti na dwumam ebrofo but o asem no emuda ho yes enti the American say sa atofo woni nyina no ekuwie say adia ensese asasi we so oye no waye edi etia the elements that make you live eti no ombema onso efri hanom akọ. And this happens when somebody deliberately or consciously unipa bi na dwen say mess sama we the other I mean mess sama wa mensu ana mess sama wa masase ana mess sama wa menframa ana mess sama wa ma ija na or the WEIJA all these elements that work in you na omonso edi wasem yejitu ma na yi we free asase so eden eko na before you live, no, say the abonuses is taking. There are signs, and I'm going to take you through these signs. Number one, say the abobeto so na messengers of death no one. You are not the type that normally reveals your life. If you are going to be very honest with you, no. Yentinasi mum kompon ko yechi ensisi enema boni aya de ya yetwem onipa bi a wotie me odie time din na ne make ndwen ho but all of a sudden you begin on say consciously unintentionally no it begins to dawn on you enema waya enyankwa ejise onipa wote ho na enema waye twemwa enye no you begin to have a review, you begin to recall them on daily basis. Opese uja nwa dwendwe na enso still no ano enema waye twem no ba na eba boni enye papa no boni ne nko a ba na eba eye one sign a udi be who say messengers of death aben.
Okay.
I'm giving you the signs to know say death is very close, very close. And there is a review. You only focus on your past life. You don't think about the future. Oh, you need that thing. Sa oho ba beto ama wakwa akoyi akwa kusidan ama wabobra ko wanim akoye sanema we. All the time your thoughts adwia ekoso wo mu eye niema boni na waye ni nyina no, and you begin to sense or feel fear. Reflection, you are reviewing and niema waye boni etwam, and even if you want to stop it, it doesn't stop. Wakoda no oda won paso no sa niema no nko na e recall back. So who says sa na wo de wotia. Listen, it is a clear sign say Yamadutes a messengers of death no omaben. It is a niema na o recall bad things na waye no a egusu eba back no a wo pese wo jai nwa dwedwe enso ba na eba no. Sa wo ye obi a wotie mi na sasie say o rectify. Okay, enipa o yo mo boni in the past ni nyina no se ni nyina sase say e flash back to you. Emimne egudie ni boni a wo do wa nyina se ni nyina sase say e flash back to you. Now your badwe mana wutie mi a, I'm telling you say it is a clear sign say messengers of death are close to you. And so if you will listen to me attentively, begin to rectify. Send your man out here, you know. Sabre won wa me patcho sasie say o ye corrections. Sasie. That is the first sign you begin to have. Say flashback, memories of what you have done terribly bad. In that period, no, and your papa why no, they don't come back to you. Because most often than not, and your papa why is it is the only thing that comes back to you as a review or flashes in your memory and in your head. Eye niema boni ya waye. Uhu ni sasepe. Sasie say, o rectify wo errors. Sasie say, o correct wo mistakes. Say you nipa bi ena oye ne sa hwehwe ne kira kwakopa ne chewo. Because you know what? People just say or invoke these elements against you by their utterances. We the other I mean so who one wabrabu we mua na nyamia. What is the okaino? Se who one no e wabrabu we mua and the name frame kweku. Hey, me and the way you sum ya don't me. Se wudin chimbo sumia. Yam frame and a frame ya, even though me di ekusuya. Eye duabɔ. Yes, eye duabɔ. Eji woti wona sa thoughts ni nyina sa images, sa memories ni nyina eba back. You want to suppress them, but they keep coming. No, a sign that messengers of death are close to you. You must be very, very careful, Papa. But sometimes, too, if someone hears salvation messages, you can reflect on your past. See, I am not talking about you going to reflect on your past. When you say preaching, salvation message bar, okay, we unte salvation message bia. Only them we are seeing now, Bobra. In fact, you are certain crown, but you don't really care about that salvation you're talking about. What do you say? And yawo na wotna se na a message bi aba na wo dwendwen ne oye in the past. Say wo de kwa kosere bonifache. And na sa asemi a make no. Sa flashes of memories and yema boni a waye in the past now coming back to you no. And yes, coming back to you for you to feel sorry. Coming back to you because messengers of death are around you. And they are telling you the reason why Uba be woo Atɔfo untimely death. Ye were free, we are seeing a yesan yema we. Etienye se nipa no krampo no okwa kunu no ho ana no onye na dwen kra se obesa chara na dwen dey free san yema boni no, but they still keep coming. If you see yourself in this situation, messengers of death are close. Say you are preparing to go and die an untimely death. Sadly, we happen and son at the eventual death and a fatality na yedin happen. It is a yeka kwinsiana ebia next 2 weeks and next month oba binya what you answer what you wanna unye deliberate attempt be as obedient in Mabonia Wayano. Now, dear Nasa say the eba, and yes, what you preaching be, and yes, will be a two be, and yes, will be and no casa would be then you start having those thoughts. Who is I say untimely death? You must take action.
Sure.
Asamna mekano emudaho. Okay. Then number 2, you will start having visitation of deceased family members or ancestors. Inipa omewu. You will recurrently nese brano ewia okoda ubehuom anado okoda ubehuom onamo asene wehu obi a wonim na wewu. That sort of visitation and that experience no ekiro say untimely death atɔfo ebehun messengers of death omabehun. If you see that way, it is another sign. Then there are visitations by angels and other spirits. Oh, no be a catcher, and I won't wind down in a casano. Me was on you be casa, but will be in your anyaku, anyenu, anyesa, a repeated action. See, the entities that are visiting you now amount for who say wo casa, but will be any hono, a sign, messengers of death are around you. Clear signs will be what of who. It is a nim say oh baby wua. These are the clear signs. They just don't come. I told you said death is a process. This is how a woman will be untimely the atɔfo ni nyina. These are some of the signs I will be because be kura na ye yare bi na wako yare no enko. Okay, and you also see these signs na mebo bosuno. So who's that signs here mebo suna? Take action because and in times like that, you will need somebody that can summon all the elements at one place and then revoke whatever has been done against you. It's a visitation by spirits and other entities. You know, oh kasa, onam kwanso na oh kasa no be anka when somebody and wine on any kasano. And it's a recurring situation. That is another sign. And then we call something out of body experience. Now, out of body experience, say netiye. Oti ho. Onai enye daye na osun. Na wa say hu se wonenam. Out of body experience. Obi a o fa sa signs we mu nyina no. Untimely death atɔfo. Something has been invoked against you. You will soon exit this world. Tie the American Adiane say onai. Oda na osun da ya e different. Where de when you go so. Aya se when you kukom ube say wo nipa no a wote ho no ana wo da ho ana wo twiri baabi ana wo kono. Na what say yourself. Say enenam. Once you experience that your time is near. Your time is very near. Out of body experience. Your time is very near. And yes, I will hear meditation be, and then yes, I will hear yoga practice be, and I will hear any form of spiritual exercise. A bema wa ye astral projection. And yes, I will hear bibisa, but you see yourself out of your body, and you are watching yourself with the body. Out of body experience. Death is very close. You must be very careful. And then another sign you're going to see is say those people are ready to say their goodbyes. We see obi a name someone all kano ochiwisa say ochina mini wa ade we me de sie wa ha me password me say me wo ska wo account ha but when we say line of talk no when we say nkomo no or say or chire that's the person is ready to say goodbye. It is only obi tifie only yarefo bi wo ho obi ben na ne nkobodiem wo wasu yi a ubetumi ehu se owo ben no anase owo nyaden amen no say di pane say or can the goodbyes why you ready it involuntarily or say or kire anka no a odi password e call Osama bin Laden krom atu ni phone so ube no asase say oh me password ni in case me ni ho na bibi ni a ubetumi abie me will scour a bank we will afei ne nkase mu no otumi kase baby a ekeka kodie bibia betumi asi metumi afiri wiase mu ochena. When the person is constantly giving you that kind of talk, we say the person is ready to say the goodbyes. Echire se nipa no owo ben no wa sense ni soul ne hunu, and so the communication is becoming involuntary. When I was speaking with Vivian's mother, after we nyina yesu ya yedi areho na no, and all kachire me say, I think say a day or 2 days before obi wuno. Or friend on in the dim komono, the last statement of Vivian kachire me say, Mami, emane how baby aduni die bibia betumi asi iti ebanesa odie emane how. That was the last time my mama in the bano yede ekasai. It was Wednesday, the Friday, and the Vivian we ready to say goodbyes. Once that line of conversation is accessible, it is a ye nanka mamino unim asemu ameke and nanka frey and our car BBC crachemia. And at that time, the messengers of death no, we can revoke ibitum ya pamo in every. Not whatever I cause it ni wood is obekono. That's son kobenyankwa. Unfortunately, not many people know about this. It's in chire ni bi one kem and in semni bi one entumi anka anchire atiasefo a yededa ho na your loved ones san your ho without any knowledge. It's when people are ready to say their goodbyes, a sign say uwu abeno, untimely death. Then again, you begin to hear voices in your ears. You begin to hear people call your name. You turn around and nobody is there. And you keep hearing the voices. Voices unfamiliar, voices familiar. Now utitudi ubia bodim pa. Over them, I say yabebo kokoko ukubie dana ubie ni ho. All of this put together, no. Hey, uwo atɔfo untimely death, and you're very close. Eti ensemi ya mebobosui. If any of these signs you are going through, meka bibi di achero, maweni na ho. You must take action now before it is too late. Ebio. There is this feeling. Oh, I say ubi kan. And yes, unsuro, but ufili se bibi kan ana ubi kan. Ada say wuchiwo, ada say wonamo, ada say and yet unsuro, but you have this feeling say no. It is as if somebody your spirit guide and the catcher say something is near you. Eti obia uwo these feelings, o sense say I say ubi kame ho, I say bibi ni minam, me feel say bibi kame ho, ana entity bi ni me ko, ana wone me bano. It is a clear sign, a very clear sign. Say uwo eben, and so you must be very, very careful, and then you can take action against that. So these are the signs. And no obibusa say if death is near you, what are some of the signs? These are some of the signs. Remember when you say you are near death, or the messengers of death are close to you. Now, when all these signs are done with, the person is ready to leave. And so, Edro ebe feli, empaibo ebe feli, because yariye biane ano edru. It is the first thing, if it is discovered, say Duabɔ ena ekun. Ana Atɔfo ebɛn se odifo ne huyu subia oweni na echiro say ayimeba uwo ben nkwansie wo ben bibi sa eben untimely de benwa. The first thing you need to do is to consult a spiritualist. Se meka spiritualist a emfa wadwe nko kwaku bonsamo. Debbie, that's not the spiritualist I'm talking about. I'm just referring to ubia unim humasem. Ubia ubetumi achirechiro sa ensem we nani so. Now award the ability to convene all the 5 elements at one spot. Now after declaring to you, because send pana or yes spiritualist or yes spiritually inclined, no, make can decide in the well. Send pana or yes spiritually inclined, no. The first thing obebo amu eye die amano die akose this experience and the akwakofa sa uwu na den abe nienti a oba be wu atofo no. The first thing obema wehunu no. It's your mawu where you've gone wronger. Then you begin to rectify the situation. The rectification no esese nipa na oboa no or Bible take you through the process. Sometimes so they go through some cleansing processes, okay? Now after so sometimes so lead you to obi a woye ne bone a o invoking side Duabɔ against you. All right? Me pese what you say. Anything of this sort, never go to the fetish place. Enkobosum so, enkonsuo so nkoda ne nya hwe. Men ko ba bia tie de America no me be kire ne obeye. Men ko ba bia se me kwa akodane Duabɔ no, yese ye Duabɔ. Se me yare yese ntoko na me kokko ye no a, me didi sister na tem no, ene wa kwa akobo me dua e wo nsuom. Se wa akobo dua wo nsuom a, die esesa wo yene se nipa ne beboa mo hu nipa ko a obo odua no ebia obema wa kai wadwene onipa bi a wafom no, because event na ekofa Duabɔ ne bae no definitely obema wa ye very much aware of event na ekofa bae ebia akoko ntokwa ebia akoji obi kunu ebia wako obi boy ho ebia wako wiade ena nipa na bodua ebia wako akoko obi ho asem na dwuma bɔ no ena nipa na bodua ade bia wo ye ma Duabɔ ne bae no ne kofa bae no sa spiritual person na nipa na o consulting no mostly must be a spiritual father.
Sure.
If it's not a spiritual father, because every spiritual father be an so nim sunsuma asem. Spirit engineer friend is spiritual father, no spiritual father be so nim huma asem ensem ya me no obobosui say you very clear to say nipa no. The person must never be confused about these matters. So unya clarity on these matters. Echidano me can say not all pastors are spiritual fathers, because we have shepherds, local shepherds, who feed the flock with the word of God. But when you're talking about a spiritual father, you have this relationship with him, you have this bond with him, he knows you, you know him, or you're very much aware of what goes in and out of your life spiritually. They make us say what you say. It is an so efamame. It is any power ever locate where the problem is coming from, and then it will take you through the process of rectification. Okay? Sometimes you also have to do restitution. So na ebia ofum nipa no baako a oye ne miyenu ya den emano na nakoma eto ne yem ansa na waba be revoke case ne de den e de amount. If you are unfortunate not to have a man of God or any spiritual person there, enana uwa na obeden ubewu na nampedu tu nyumbi osi ejankaba unya asɛm a wan na bɛka bi ama wo eti wo wiase we mu ahwa aya now de ho ade agigya said the maker what you see me be wiase ma menya spiritual father bi a me asɛm ba mentumi nkɔ ne nkyɛn sɛ agya mpajo sɛ ni sei na ɛkɔso na ɛde na menye manya ne ntie sɛ de me fam no ɛyɛ Duabɔ ɛyɛ obi na ayɛ me saa ɛde na menye menya sɛ nipa bi nti no me sonson me ho ɛhwɛ me ho suye na me da me nyankopɔn. Eventually, by the grace of God, were making me capable. Say, it be able to me, because at the end of the day, I've taken my time to study. I still humble myself to study whenever the time comes. You know, addition is very important. And I also open myself to people to be able to ask me the questions, and I will simply provide the answers when I have them. If I don't have the answers, I will seek, I will learn, I will research. When I have it, I give it. Simple life. You know, once I've been put in leadership, he has also made me able to deal with issues of this nature. Because and that is when you disobey or you flout simple instructions. Nipana spiritually also no edema would disrespect no when any instruction oba de ya we efra nani ewo what is happening. Ube hu akire no na aye too late. Na de ntimpa nyame ma no hu akire se ne be ya on blame ne ho for what has happened. Obema a perfect understanding of what has happened. Iti only openi nam and only spiritual father nam no kasa kire wa me pacho ti eye wa wo ye di ene wumpuntu munti ena one wo e kasa sa. Iti once we hunu sa de no where the problem is coming from no afei ena obeboa wo ama wa reverse the situation. Iti there are two main things I'm going to deal with. Of all the signs, you know, back where very dangerous. I know the how to go about it. Se obi ewu atɔfo ana obi mpo ewu natural death. Na usa se unhu nipa no odayem frequently a me pacho sign say they are calling you to join them. Obeba no oni ni di nkomo oni ni didi oba wo nchen no okọ na wonsu tudi nachi ose obra na waye na wa atu obi na wawu no ni so no ye earthbound na waye embrace no awa atu me pacha o you must be careful omre aka wo wiase we mu isa it may take 3 months 4 months 5 months 1 year but your life is short. Those series of dreams and our visitations, you know, they are not ordinary. These are earth-bound souls and are air visiting. And once they visit you like that, Atɔfo and a wo baby wu. It is obi da ayarem paso. No such say uhu ewufua. Woma free ni fia clear sign ubewu obeko obrain soyin ye ba before. Messengers of death will orchestrate this. Somebody has invoked things against you. And you're gonna go. Once you still have the breath of air in you, you have the fire in you, you have the ether in you, your body is still there, the earth is there, and the water is still in you. You can assemble all the elements and stop that exit from happening.
Okay.
Eti owo bebre wo ha ye betumi esi ano kwan e wa ha. Just say you don't have the right people to do it for you. Eti owo ni bi wo ya na nyame nsa anim. The organization the nyame sen wo ha no and they take place. Eti ade na ya sen wo ha no ahaya so wonim ahan sese no a wo betumi ya stop no ama na yeyi. But you asem na make an muda ho. Muda ho. John Kennedy, Nico Atigri, man of God, be my spiritual father. Ken, number one, this is the first time I'm seeing the ID on the on the feed. All right, it's you know before you become a son or a child of mine, there has to be a relationship. I need to know you. There are processes. You don't just have a spiritual father out of the blue. You need to establish a personal relationship with that person. Send your beya. Obitumi everyday vibes. I mean, obitumi everyday. When I say ready, obitumi a sense of spirit and our feeling. There has to be a Bluetooth connection.
Sure.
And sana abaso. So if there's anything of that sort, well, we can talk later after the transmission. I think the number is 0244765050. We can talk after the transmission. Na yedi sa enkomono edi free honum. Thank you, and I believe that you will be a good son eventually if that happens. Eti once those visitations keep coming, we need to work on it. Eti baby I do no me be kwan e dia ma question. O wasimbisa fabra because ene me pese ye beko echiri sa eno ayete pa. Fortunately you are crossing 2 hours. Eti I'm going to work on the 2 things. First one, eye moa munya the dreams, visitation of deceased family members or ancestors. Or more visiting modayim, and you do all sort of things with them. You need to stop it from happening. And so I'm going to show you how to get it for Winnie Mommy. Winnie Dahono Mommy. How to do it. You can get a piece of paper and a pen down, and then the no, I'm showing you because I must die empty. Say a brand sooner be free. Asasi so akwa say die minim ana onyankopon aboa ama mehunu no wiase nyina mu no sane mani nyina no mechewo ansana mewie medwuma e wasasi so eti question bi amaya. I'm proceeding to the direction bebacho adia mekurei eyejeni yes onion hweni ejeni ebetumi anya white obetumi anya your friend is saying ready, but it must be this type of onion ejeni because you need to stop that visitation, all those kinds of dream. You need to stop it. Okay, say nipa na ofri mu no most often than not mumu bi wo hɔ it is your habit say afie bia no ode your friend is saying wreath sa flowers na ye de to tumbu so no griefs no mumu bi o you have that practice mamenka se minchire o yes ade na enye bi ujai o yes you are connecting yourself with a departed soul bebajo say me enra me kire mo say yesie emunu a all right say yesie emunu a the soul most often than not so we are mottering ni abrabo a onko obeye earth mound eti o wabeye earth bound no o baby a ne body ni eden eda no kopim say body ni beda ne dotie no onko baby a eti many of them become earth bound now die when ya daja koto flowers osi afie bia mekwa akodo me maame na so mekwa akosiesi ni tum no so mekwa akoye mede flowers wreath kwa akugu so. Why are you doing that? What is the relevance? Ye. Eya mo se monya bibi papa bi na mo ye wo. Mo hwe movie no a film sa na jimuti aboso. Ave mo sori anopa na mo koye de mo hwe di film mu ni mu no. Sa de na mo ye no, you are just bringing, problems upon yourself. Nipa no just say wa finish here free. What's all this? Anyway, so say open say o stop it, all those diseased your friend is saying members no mewu wadam for family friend then open so stop you munyina that sort of dreams their visitation. If you want to stop it, you will need an onion like this. Jenny say, and I'll be here. Yes, Jenny, you're going to need onion. Bakusei. Now, when the sun goes to set and there is darkness, isumba, sajenewe, you're going to put yourself into a moment of prayer, and you do this between the dark time, the dark hours, and you know the dark hours. Yeah. The dark hours, between the hours of 12 and 3 a.m. and no year the dark hours. Iti misremo atɔfo no emakwa muntie ni. Obefa saje ni wi. All right. And then just as a believer will pray, there be a mekachire mu say you must know exactly what to do.
Sure.
And the prayer to say. So prayer direction. Prayer direction in Maya prayer no obonokwa isan say yare bia ne anu aduru ontumi mfa hwempon aduru enkosa nanda ema ne nyeyi echi for the visitation of deceased people in your dreams. You see them, your uncles, your grandfathers, even Methuselah, you see him in your dream. This is what you're going to do. Take the onion, Bakusei. Now, in the middle of the night, you know, at 12 a.m. to 3 a.m. no, in between, no, afeo beye sa empire bono. Every spirit be a connect me, foul spirit, disease spirit, departed souls. Akra ewe free. Awa unya meye no. Obon pa ni na now they will more eye day. Hwane ho. Okay. Emfa knife enye day enye. Now they onsa no hwane. Ninya now bompa ye. A wasise empetuwo enkwanhie wuo. Atɔfo wo bia ede ama me o twe me kra. O frefre me se memra me nkrechi. Wobra ebrenso ye no. Ni nyina na oyɛ den. Ohwane. Ni nyina na oyɛ den. Ohwane. Obompa ye ni nyina na ohwane. Etu be hwane a kosi se ne ho ni nyina be den. Na eba beto aduane no. Eti make sure say je ne na obefa no ne ho ne ye den. Ewo ho. Ni nyina na ohwane. Obehwane akosi se ne ho ni nyina be den. Ebe free ho na ato aduane no. Se ne ho ni nyina efiri ho wie sepe. Then by then no na empire sese obo ni nyina no wabo ni nyina ye den. Ewie. Good. Afi enunie. Waba benya jene raw jene no. After say wenya raw jene na wie no. Afi na obefa knife. Oba beche jene nim 4 pepepe. Echi ubetwa ni sei 4 tienie pa one say mi try no ya benya we right now wasamba betwem echi ubetwem at the center na waba benya the 4 corners. Okay, the catcher said the racing be a way to revoke messengers of death no as I say it take this format. So yeah, I say take it echi say oka say wo draw say ko benya Johnson. It's in near that middle no ebeye the junction, the point of intersection. Okay. It is a set uchem 4 pepepe. Nema 4 square say. A year assassin on them fatro day and 9. A year assassin in fatro 9. Okay. It will be benya bibi to say. 4 say. It after the first phase of the prayer no. Uchem 4 we say ya. Now the general aton some say tie the mekano afei obepie every roof ase as say unya access to the environment, the totality of the universe as say unya access. All right. Etie bia obetumi aba begina obakoni ana obetumi aba begina wo corridor ana obetumi asie pie abonten said the skies will be your roof. Right. And then you will stand on the edge. Now the Jeneno aton say. Now you are going to say the last phase of your prayers. One more oma free at as force so akra ewu all the departed souls no. Edoimo me samaimo say you will not visit me again. Mama in time me daimo bio you won't have access to me. Me block every access of me to you. Onipa bia odi me image akojire baby na all frame me so. Now all chimikra every mimuno and let me stop it no in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. It's when you offer that prayer, jenny down some say no. Eye niema mienu o dan a o dem no. O de ba ku bia koto e corner. Okay? Okay. It's we ba ku a now they are to the corner. Sure. We ba ku a now they are to corner. Every room must have 4 corners. Sure. And now say eye wa compound or plotter. The 4 corners of your compound, you know, what the bar to say, barco beda corner say, na barco the 4 corners, na odia inclusive. Because at the center of the square, a junction, at the center of it, Ehonom na all covenants emiti.
Okay.
Ehonom na all the realms of the spirit emiti. Eti you put it at the corners of your bedroom or your sitting room or ufie no awuchim no senye wa ufie dia, it must be your room. On the other hand, if it is a particular person, and all the time you keep seeing in your dream one. On the other hand, the obetumi ani say, "Oh yes, am paiboni wiya." Obetumi keepu jeneno. Then you walk to the cemetery. If indeed you know baby you see no, then baby ne tomb no one and the graveyard no. The four corners one say ye 6 feet now obenya four corners. What they are to the four corners. Na weja ho. That is the end. Sa so no awohono will never visit you again. The spirit will never come close to you again. And then say Atɔfo and whatever it is, all the messengers of death by doing this away. You've come back to life. Konasa kudin kwasa sembiu. Ati ase. Konasa kudin kwasa sembiu. Konasa koye ni ope. This is the first direction you need to do. It is the onion. Open a recap. And one is you repeat the tip. Now what you mean? Enya the old question obi to me ebusa. Now for yemra revoking Duabɔ. Duabɔ duya enyawo. Wefuwa se onase atatai odifo na katiro se eye boni bi a odidi nipa sumesi enwa boduya. Afi ese Duabɔ ni yedane no. Odifo se Duabɔ odi don't worry. Wakachiro WEIJA no ho brefie mebechiro ni obeye. Na wadani duyano eti de medi kan eche direction o question afabra question bi ni ho de a ene na me ba be kire how to revoke Duabɔ bia se eye bosom ne de ko ye se ye nsuo ne de o ma no se ye ija ene ye de o ma no se ye emframa whatever ye de abodua ye ba be where kwanya ye befa so a ye be sesa fa body aban no emame fa body aban no emame eno a me kire mo say you going to need your friend is saying tender stone na we ye body aban we ye body aban se wo pese wo dani dua no a me ba be kire wade ai eti when wasune tie medin na de me pese me katironi so ni mi say wo utie me yabodua menyanwa esese upe ubi a ni mudu na ode woko ekoyes direction senso wa akukuduru na inya to the point say o ahodi a obetumi di akoya koye but my main kanchiro say esumasem na meba be kire no na de na meba be kire no the moment you begin to make the preparation towards the revocation say wo ba be revoke wo ba be dani Duabɔ no ahonhom nyina betwa ho sia enti there are times a wo mo a eko dani dua no ontumi nwi na wotwa hwe no wewu ti de make no iti wonim say omunyedu na because esumasem mysteries na ewomu no edoso the best thing for you to do ni say ubusuani kuno fa ne bremi oya sorry ba fa ne bremi onya sorry ba me pachoko sofo ho fa me tape yi de me chiro yi ema no na so sofo ni mudu a onkoye ma ho no nje umfiri Duabɔ ni mu enko komfo no ho enko nsuo ni so enkwa nto enyama se okoda ni Duabɔ obese wu aka ho. If the messengers of death no once you have been summoned to leave this earth, the elements they are kicking you out. Oko kodane no ho said day you will die eventually. Tia semna mekano. Besides, osa ko hokrampo na o se okwa kodanenwa. Once I don't walk to Abusunsumu, that is a sin against God. You will not even be saved. Your soul cannot be saved. Nyankopon na ye ni wiase. Ena akadia yedi ye niema yi edi sai niema no odi asisi mu. Haban yedi saa die yedi ya die yi. Entro ya yedi eye garden eggs ya yedi. Sa garden eggs no won say yedi ne seed no ne fruit na was no ne vegetable yedi. The same garden eggs no ma yentum free from na ne hi no enka wano only 2 minutes ubewu. Eye very poisonous within 2 minutes to sa garden eggs ne hi no never ubewu eye poison as well say na dua ne yedi. Obe konsona saa de na eye poison ma no eye obi nso aduane abo bi aduane oye de odia ema na hoden. Nyame ya aye ni wiase in such a mysterious way. So the world or this earth is full of mysteries. If you are not strong enough to handle the mysteries of this life, that is why it is important to have people who are backing you spiritually. Yay, asamna make an audience here. Very good. Angie, let me take you through the process. Remember, say you are going to bring all the 5 elements at one spot. I saw the need you are going to bring all the 5 elements at one spot. One spot, the junction, ebeye adie we in finfin, and ebeye dancing. Okay, me pato follow the direction carefully. Number 1, you are going to need sea water. Baby is when you are going to require sea water. Epunsio no yewo ejuma bibra yedeye. Yewo ejuma bibra yedeye. You're going to need epunsio. Epunsio no you're going to need a bucket full. Bucket na be use so enye rubber bucket awatono fufuru bi enyusu da. Na mechire wie na wo free mu fi na wo to wo fu no twetwe wo yefo na ahye ni nyina ne ne ha nyina ejaya sankodi nkwasesem ni mudu ya why na Christopher asema mobo atofo na doso duabo no a ekum nipa na doso. So I have it a duty to show you the way to work on it. It's and say more different places. Many of you are far away. But say body ha by now who be here no unya bi wo baby a wodi a. Let's just say wo kan ho na wo ba baby a benya body ha by. Na ye dani dua no e de mam. Entisa you go die way well the tree way. First, you need a bucket of seawater. I am very emphatic. Seawater. Mankase kosa insu nefa inchingum. No matter how you fetch water, the taste will never be compared to seawater. When Yankopon fa so mixing chin insu no more, it me a salty sano. Only God knows. We need to choose Yankopon. You will need a bucket of seawater. Aisha says, Papa, my question, based on yesterday's lesson, sometimes family members stand beside the deceased lying in stage and take pictures. Every day. We need to picture. And I say, Ucha, if you need picture. Now they are going to social media say yenye ne day. Well, as I sit here now, they haven't seen any spiritual connection taking pictures of a dead body. But say one dead body in the picture. And no yasem. But say odi phone etra picture ne. I don't see any spiritual connection. Say ebia anadwi ana maybe sorry ena mehu bibisa eno no. But as I sit here in my experience and in my knowledge in it, I haven't seen anything of that sort. Why, Aisha? Thank you. So you're going to need seawater for this direction. A bucket full. Bucket nenye rubber bucket watono fufra ubie nyusuda. Okay. Afei seawater no se unim epoa mamemfa epo nchero. Say na epotie. Aha. Whether and it obviously must be a blue sea, because I know that mostly we have around. It must be a salty sea. Eti eponsion eponeda hono kesiesa no needs you nibi. You need a bucket. Eti you can travel to a place where ubenya eponsion nibi na o de gallon akwa akosa. Oba ye area mu ha baby a ye tie ya. Aye WEIJA junction kokoro bite beye epono beye heya obetumi akọ sebi. I mean say I don't think say anyway mo amwa no say airport there you can locate airport ewo baby a mobile. But if you don't have apple, na yabu duawa bruchira, brefi nebe dani duabono, ongoto wakotoa wa braboso, and only the mitchimi akachiro. You are going to need seawater, a bucket of it, a fresh bucket. Into ubet made gallon kesie aqua kosa. Na odi befia wababi shi ediegu bucket fufrona watunim. Okay. Now, afe odi nsuo no eponsuo no gu bucket ni mu a okae adiewe tender stone no so okae ai bema no ena obi yisu bema no so obi yisu bema no ye tuntum okay bema no ye tuntum mamenyi we na wu ni sa no we no the down screen is no your bar. There is a green white bisano and no your bar. I think say enra. Okay, me wumba could be wo UK for platform this. Mami imkuyi. Yes. Mami kunedu edi. We betu UK for platform this. Meba mamemfa sa image no so emeto ayi bema no meto ema oni hu. I need to work on this. Just a moment, please. Meba me pese mi black one bema no edechere munamu huseni isitie. Okay, let's get this going. PP. But your mom in radio so the make no mobetumi but I don't think say mobinya a so fasudie because you'll have to definitely come to YouTube and our Facebook. Okay, eti bema no ni tuntum no ena ye bema no. Eti you will need the black one and not the your friend is saying the obano we now be here the dark screen tuntum no ena be here nti wokwa ose hope a tender stone akumano osoro de na ye agrada edwa market ubenya be simply agrada edwa akumano a ifrimu ba no. You will need that one, the black one, which is the male. Which is a bucket of seawater, no fresh bucket fufuru bi enwari muda fufura wato na udi seawater no egum. All right, then now the tender stone na eden atum. all the tender stone need to move. You're going to need a dewy body habai. You're going to need body habai, and on the wall screen is no. And on the wall screen is no. Ube here body na habai. And on the wall screen is no. Body habai no ube here me no. Ube here me no. Te said ye. Bikura wahano. Ena body habai ni se ucha. One who in sanwa. Mamini winning free. Beba. Ucha body habai na one who say ne a free duyane sono. Edeba body na habai no. Ewo stock bi. Ese ucha na ninsano. Ewo hosei. Enti. Mienu sei ena ubi here. Body habai mienu sei. And I'll be here. In order to revoke Duabɔ, will be here somebody to assist you. And that somebody must be ubia or yes spiritually weighty. Ubia ni mudu. And this idea, I just say, Oba anamon eba me honum na erade fami so edanenu edemam. Then so say wow ni webusu afo bi tumi aya. Mechere momonko ye na momfana ni Duabɔ no. No acquaintancem, no secretary, no nothing. Said the American what you say. Very good. It will be here, but they have by me, no say. Now, all Babe call for Junction. Yes. Time I will be this Juma we anajo, still between 12 and 3 a.m. You're going to need a 4 junction. 4 junction, baby, a quine me no bedding. Ebisia. Baby, a quine me no bedding. Ebisia, nimfinfi, and a year 4 junction. Iti yinkras you be as a cell look at baby, and because in the middle of the night, you know, junctions, you know, ayana. Inipa ennam ho bebrisa janse nankasan so no anwea aya egu ho no ewo de ubetumi dia ye bebri ewusunsumu eno so ebrebe mu a mekyerechire echi you need a 4 junction obi bebusa say adenti na you need a 4 junction pastor ni o kekende na say Yesu Kristo abewu ubo Yesu din a okay kona kobo Yesu din why me de Yesu ni minim no etikobo Yesu na waye ni wiase no adenti na asofo na bobo Yesu din wo musosa ensudua yebo mu nyina wu na mu adentia. Do you think say Jesus will bypass the protocols on why install it in place in this world?
No.
Agrobi na mo aya mudi. So you need a 4 junction. Send your 4 junction eti no udru ha. The first thing they say body habai mi no. Obe cross on it say 4 junction pepepe na na masorina isumu ona mefa enchire. Kuremusa. Send your 4 junction eti no. Sa na obe cross ahaban no yeden. Ahaban ni mienu ewo ho. Bebacho said ya mechire no mahu. Send your 4 junction eti no. Yempijam sei. Sa na obe cross ahaban no sei. Na wanya 4 junction no eti 4 junction ni mfimfin pepepe. Na wa cross ahaban ni su sei. Baako ewo soro, baako wo fom. Na wanya the same thing. Now they are 4 junction no mfimfin pepepe. Okay, for body ahaban no. Egu ho. Now, what they ahaban no across aye 4 junction ni se na ahaban no eda ho sei no. Wodi nsuo no eba besi ahaban no so. Na wu nipa na yabo odua no, wagina ahaban ni mfimfin. The point of intercession baby across no. Eti sa obehwa well say may the white markings be I mark the 4 and 80 the middle point you know Ehonom na ubejina wo ayabodua ubejina wo ahaban ne so. So obekaya ebra mechire body na koma se yabodua na opesa reverse ya na koma ebiewu. This one dey the elements na we free iwiase wem. So you need to bring all the elements back together. Okay? No more be meeting at where a covenant must be made. Every covenant biano, it happens at a 4 junction where the peripheral, the earth peripheral and spiritual realm they meet. As I see, so they meet there. Spiritually too, they meet there. Sure. It's in a 4 junction, very, very important, very powerful. It is only more me catch them. Ahaban no ubejina the intercession baby a woka aban no to so o de cross to see we are no ejina the finfin na o de position na wo bucket ni mu no egsi ahaban ni nchen baby aida se wo anase nipa no a order ni duabɔ no ene beye sade wi eti wo a yabo odua ne de ugina ahaban ni finfin na ensuo no a epunsuo na ekumano eye tender stone no edemu no. Obeyi, one thing you must put in mind. You're going to be fully naked. Yes. Obeso ode uhusi ukata o privacy. Kawanku wi obi ade amaya modua. Obeso ode wakusi kuma ezi. Obeso ode hide wo. It's right there in the middle of the night. You are going to revoke Duabɔ. Until you have to be fully naked. So yeah, it must not be on a full moon night. And I do a busumi na pie around to send your wound was screen is on my batchman koye. Ubi woo. It must be a dark night. And it says, your friend is Osramono, a provider or light. You must choose the night carefully. And away no, anytime because we are body, and said, that's it, Debbie. Any day, the only condition is say, it must not be on a full moon night. It is always say, Bosomeno, are you fool? Don't go and do it. Don't go and do it. Don't do it. You will be fully naked. Na afe ensiono a epunsiona ekumane demuno. Ye ba be sesa e de egu nipa na yabo ni dua no ho. Yes senya no na ye reverse it, na ye recite the prayer. And they saying ye wie nsio gu no ho a ensu a ye de wo ma no ye reverse no ye dane no asase a ye sama wo ma no ye dane no ija ye de wo ma no ye dane no baby ye de wo kra na akoma ye twa wo nkwana so ye dane no duabo bia ye dane no obehwie nsu na firi ni ti e de aba bisi ni na ase oye oba we no to twene baby wig no yitu baby we will need your natural hair. Don't do any spiritual direction with your artificial hair. Sadia na makachire mo atire se munkipu mo natural hair emano o de munti na mumfa nyasem. So you are going to be pouring the water ubehwie ensuo no ediagu emfa bucket no fadie esesa. Okay, fadie esesa ne fa ensuo no gu nipa ne so ensuo bia ye de abodua ye dane no baby ye de wakoja bia bosum bia de wama ye dane no asasi bia de abodua ye dane no duabo bia eje wo ka na fi nsam ye dane no ensuo no gu nipa na yabo ne dua no so ewa haban ne so. All right, all this while no na your friend is saying ekuma no ye tender stone e den edem eti ensuo ni nyina esawia. You are not going to dry yourself. Enchina in the middle of the night and that 4 junction no. At that point kai say every power or every force or ye behind Duabɔ Atɔfo ni nyina no. They are all going to hover around. They say they're going to come around. It is sometimes ubetumi afili say time a woyɛ direction no na emframa strange wind bogi a very ominous night. Echina me say se wunyini hu mu a ma obi a oyɛ spiritually inclined enye enane ne ma. But you said the American what they say. Those emframa fa because wind bear testimony say at the end of my jatum somebody is revoking it. Obi dane no. Obi dane at the end no. It's massive wind ube say ebo. All of a sudden, ube said there are some entities, movement around. It is all you be or you hufua, me pacha, men could di bonin ya mudia. Unim na ujanija dieno, a two things. Others will be carrying wa, and that's how we go mad. Don't joke with spiritual matters. Tina mekatel me say, we are seno and now qua. If we are seno and now qua. So when slow bibia, unche we are see wim. Tia semna mekachoni. Eti yehwie sonugu muswa na esa ya revoke cases ni nyina no de ebekoso wo no environment nyina don't mind obi a onim huhuma asem no a ni mu odu de onim ni oye eti wo peso wudwane a wo de wudwane firi haban ne so na hu ne ebeto wo said the maker what you see you must complete the direction it is ensuo no egu hu wi a on paper wo ho on dry wo ho. Then you can go and put on your clothes. It's your best adia nantiakoho. Udruwa noa habaina ye ready no. Where you won't add any na wejina win so. Make sure you say enye full moon. If we are a bosomino enye ma. If it's a full moon, don't do it. It must be a complete dark period. Then if you so no ed dani duaboni na bompa any wia. Where's ye free habaina so. Na wase watade ensuo no bewo won ho omfata wo bi anye den empepa ensuo ni nyina ebewo won ho then bucket foforo no a tender stone no demu no na tender stone no odi ato ba bi a wugina ye no now the bucket no ebutu so afei you are going to walk away without looking back ubeja bucket no ade bechi na bucket ni tender stone no wa obi betumi abachene enframa betumi wo akọ ayi ebeti haban no betete whatever will happen to you you don't care fa sa bucket ni tender stone o de two baby original now the bucket na dey ebutu so na we jeni haban ho sa you will leave the scene without looking back. Please ade direction bia ne na kwan. Say ya me na me ya minim de me ye esa se me chira wona mo ankasa mo ye no wo mo me ai me nti esa se me chira mo exactly the pros the demands the sese wunu eti ufri wa don't look back till you get to your home. Se wafu ahyew se onasi atata you se wuntumi nidiu whatever it is wafu na say no eniem egu wafu no mina anato no a obesasia fini nyinara afei uwia obe se obetwetwe that night no a bibia bedane saade na akoye no all the 5 elements ababesia wo. That is why you need a 4 junction to do it. Afei ofefefefe niema ni nyina free umua. Then by the grace of God no wa revoke wa you free bibie ni wa ewachiri e come de wa kope aduane bi ne di. Next time uhu obi yire a onkofa no. Next time obi ade da ho a unkowia. Next time unkodi obi unkonkonsa. Next time obehe wa blabosu yi na se wonnim na after saa same way a make am woko dingwa sasem ne bodua wo de ka se o na se we de papa chire duabɔ revocation it meye you will see this is a one time thing you will do in your life. We don't repeat it. Ye twice in a lifetime. Ye once in a lifetime. It once you use your slot where we just one card. Ye so papa chire we obuwa ye once in a lifetime. Ubia a once in a lifetime. Me se bomidua a once in a lifetime. Besa kodim kwasa sem ne bomidua biwa mewu. The American not here. Yo. Okay. eti direction no eno ni now ebia enye wo na oye ade no ena yebodua na emu dua no eye obi ne yebɔ no na aba be sound ye said the maker what you say eye obi ne yebɔ no na aba be den ena si duabɔ no obo ende kum efiofo no all of you must go through the ritual. But you said the maker what you say if you're for near boom dia munyina you go through that process. Now what to me every mwafi. Now yabodu yano nipa ne wu esese ye dane no ansa ne yakwa akosi anajo ade bechi ansa ne yakwa akosi saa emu no esese se owukunu a nikunu owenuafo a enuafo no that one bucket no wo munyina saa haban ba akona so na obi abeden ebegina saa one bucket of isuo no eno na yebesa ade egu obi a se ebeso wo munyina de yense egu hu na eden asena fa wo nyina abafom. The entire family no will have to go through this process in the middle of the night and sana animu atete amayako fabodi na yeden akwa akosi because all of you are at risk. Someone yes ade wi na mudi emunu kwose fom no we say eyeduaba asema making obekai me asu anase obekai me asri modi enema bi wa mudidi agro se nipa no a wawu no atofo se yeduaba okay when we say Vivian de no papa no odi kan ne kotena ye no ni duabɔ ena eka no ne yere eku ono ankasa the same thing ena edi Vivian eko asodin kakra bi ameba ne ye menko no koi yakobia na shemu say they make what you see na sene ade ne tie no esan say eye papa no ne ma ena ye so mase asana papa no no mu hu atire dane ne ma ne nji no sisi an ebeye eye Vivian no ne chiri ma ne nyina ebe so mase the last person dies the abona finish sisi an before we will bury the corpse on Thursday no Wednesday night we have to do the cleansing and the revocation esi ye dane no ansana ye de amunu akwa eden akwa sefom ya nyisi pe asemato yen asemaba eti ebusuafo duabɔ eho nsem no atɔfo no ahanum emena medewo ebesi wo question busa na menyia no ansana masori so
Soni amani hunui adiachio
Nesi obiara limo na se bebiso Izanya kuponku walini
adiachio ampa adiachio enyina na yakasorio izanya kuponku walini adiachio mama ampa adiachio adiachio tinamediye mesi misumidachi misumidachi
Mediya misumeriye
Mama Yesu ya dachi wati Mama Yesu ya wiye se baby
misumeriye
Mama Yesu ya dachi wati Mama Yesu ya wiye
misumeriye
ampa diachio enyina na diachi ye na se baby padie mama nyanku ponko adenim ampa diachio enyina na diachi ye se baby mama nyanku ponko adenim dadi unkwa na wuni mudia medeme wo hye wonso mabra bonyina wo wonsam mikwa nyina nso wo wonsam dadi unkwa na wuni mudia medeme wo hye wonso aye mabra bonyina wo wonsam mikwa nyina nso wo wonsam bisese bewie pade one any
all right, silence means consent. Echere say yina yehunu direction no na yate ase. Kai say Duabɔ ne danie ne die no very, very critical and crucial. And this wonim say yabo busuani bi dua enya no de yare bi aba beto no so ekuno hospitals my checks the sesemu yi nyina efidie ntumi hu edro ntumi solve yare bi a wo be try say wo solve free ho na after 21 days edro a wo ye no still now no you don't see any improvement anymore na ekono me pacho bibi techiri. You need to go and work it out. That is when you're going to require people who are spiritually inclined. But make sure you go to the right source. Okay, when you say, enye baby na obit me akose okwakoje ayarebo anase okwakope your friend is saying, emwa edi free, because there are some evil people around who equally have access to information. Original nanka ense say omohavo. Entino, you must be mindful where you go. Enko konfo enko difu bia ho say okwa akosesamo okwa akodani duabɔ no omunya ka kiro say ese okɔ ayi your friend is saying konfo anoti krum na akodani duabɔ no ya sonto akrum kodani duabɔ no ko no bopu kodani duabɔ no ko your friend is saying kwawu be poso koda enko bebia kwaya e faso dani duabɔ no ne edisi atɔfo wo ho kwan no eno ena media kire no. Now me sorry so no yemfa ne say you have no idea say yabodua. Okay, you have no idea say yabodua, and I say atɔfo wo bi eben. All you need to do, if you think you are having any of the signs, just do the onion direction. And only idea says yeden. Oh yeah. Send ye mechere wono. Safe no aba sanwachi ne kotie tape ni bio. Na ye onion direction. We are and no one it will be cut off. But if for any reason you believe say, and now you've been told say ni ekoso webusuanim no eyedua ene abomunjina ebiasa awuwu ni si wo ana sa yare no ababesue ebusua no ana sa oyini no abesue ebusua no ekwan ne na machere mo no you get the sea water and then you a bucket of it, brand new bucket will be enware muda. Now the thunderstone no black one or ye male one no den atum afei ubetwa body ahaban minu obeko enkwantanan eye 4 junction wo the body ahaban na cross mo a moye affected no obi enyina emfinfin se ye busua ene duabo baako di munya sa ayi ahaban minu na so obi enyina so na onfa nsuo no eponsuo no bi nya den enwohoro no ho follow through the process na afei munya mofa ahodi monano no emfiri ho se asembise bi ni hodia ena na medidwumadi no esi ha obade ya domo a ochina yebeto yenkomo no so edi akọ bra okra no finally wetumi free asasi so no na wawura astral tunnel no mu epi no wa visited the subtle realm no edi ebe important ena esi wo ho. How does judgment come about? Heaven and hell no and wansem no etisain obade ya dom na ochina ebeto yen na bibia ansankan manamoa yebishia na yatoa sadisua ne so but modern say obasi pe you like the transmission and you share as much as possible mo amutie no wo radio so no real FM no I think it's so unfortunate say images ne infonina mi yi ni nyina no aya amuhunu, but you can still go to social media, Facebook Pathway to Heaven Church and now say YouTube Pathway to Heaven International Church na wakwa akuti enkomo a yedi no enenso obade ya we emu anoma mokokuduri namye sɛne ɛbɛyɛ abrabo yɛ yebu mo bɛti ase sɛ ewiase ne mu wem enema bebree ene ye ne di asi edi sɛ yɛanhwɛ yɛn ho so yi amotene ne abrabo a enema bɛko akyɛn onyankopɔn tutu manamo ensisi yi na mo dudu a yabubu mu dua na mo wu afiri asase so no ebra mo tu na mo akwakoye akwankyere Awurade mo ho ban no nyimu firi sa Atɔfo wo no ensem na motumi asom ne yi edi apreda nkwa amamokra woni doba Yesu ade munti amen
Amen.
Adiachi, Messi Okia Renimo, Nase Belinso, Ifenya Kuponko Alini.
Adiachio, Ampa Adiachio, Enina Nayakasorio, Ifenya Kuponko Alini. Adiachio, Mama, Ampa Adiachio, Adiachio, Tinamidia Messi. Misumidachi, yeah, Misumidachi.
Media Misumeria.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario. Say, baby, ah.
Misumeria.
Mama Yesu Yadachi, what? Mama Yesu Yario.
Misumeria.
Ampa Diachio, Enina Nadiachi. Na se baby padie mama nyanku ponko adenim ampa diacho yenina